All right, if you're watching on YouTube, as always, there should be links in the description with timestamps to the games of the video. We're going to be listening to some tunes first for a couple of minutes, and then we'll be jumping into the matches. Welcome to Magmageddon for game number 1 of the subscriber replay showcase. This is, of course, Sybert signing into Red Alert 3. If you're a little gremlin, put your hands up in the air and say, "Heyo, I'm a little Command & Conquer gremlin." Because I know I am, and I'm excited for these matches. We have 6 replays, I think, and I think 4 of them are team games. So buckle in. It could be a long one as the Red Allies in the top left-hand corner with a couple of Soviet power plants inside of his base. This is DutchArmy. He's kicking it off on the left side of Magmageddon because this is a 3v3 as the Green Soviets. This is Bluesmagoos. Yes, his name is Bluesmagoos. He is not playing blue, and best part is no one's playing blue in this game. In the south, as the purple, this is Error 404. His opponents are hoping to find him, but we'll see if they get lucky or if they just get their connection dropped. As the Cyan Airfield First allies, this is A&F. Meanwhile, in the middle, playing as the Yellow Soviets, this is YuNo. And rounding it out as the Orange Empire, this is Khay. Some familiar faces in here for sure. We have Khay, YuNo, A&F, DutchArmy, of course, a favorite for all time pretty much. And we've got Error 404 and Bluesmagoos, who we have also seen in a number of team games. And, well, I don't know that we've seen this particular lineup of them before, but we're kind of somewhat familiar with all of these guys. If you've been watching the channel for a while, if you've been watching these team games for a while, you're probably familiar with all of these guys at various points. Great. Whoa. Did that show up for you guys? Are you guys? Whoa, what was that? The screen just went dark. That was really strange. It went away, so I guess we don't have to restart the recording or anything. But that was really weird. I have never seen that. That was not the space cable. That was some other visual glitch. Really nice control on the Peacekeepers from DutchArmy. You saw him keeping, I don't know, 4 or 5 Imperial Warriors busy while he was, you know, he had basically 2 Peacekeepers. And normally that wouldn't really work, but it did work in that case. Fast third refinery coming in from YuNo. Pretty quick third refinery from Khay as well. Multi-gunner turret in the south. And it's just 2 refineries so far for Error 404. Bluesmagoos getting his third up. DutchArmy getting his third up. Bit of harassment. Terror Drone trying to get in there. Sickle trying to get in there as well. Khay going to be supporting YuNo. YuNo is going to have to fight against this multi-gunner turret, so that might be the end of the harassment for now. But Bullfrog's going deep into enemy territory, going to be able to snipe down at least one of these Vindicators. One Vindicator did get a kill on a Mecha-Tengu and will leave just one Mecha-Tengu left. Terror Drone doesn't get sniped. It gets the infect on the Bullfrog, and that's going to be at least one Bullfrog down. Good juggling forced here by DutchArmy. He is going to get the multi-gunner turret as well, and he is going to get the double infect on those Bullfrogs. Bluesmagoos, rather, getting the double infect on the Bullfrog. Those Terror Drones cleaning up YuNo's Bullfrogs. A little bit of pressure coming in here from Khay, but on the south side of the map, it's Akula subs coming out from Error 404 and going to be pushing A&F back. So A&F trying to set up an expansion in the south. A&F will be able to take down an oil derrick of Bluesmagoos, or of Error 404 rather, but losing a refinery, the consolation prize is that oil derrick. $500 cash back to Error 404, I think, as someone gets cash back on that refinery, which is quite nice for them. So a little bit of getting paid for killing stuff, always nice when you're a Soviet player. What? That was a great way to kill some wall segments. You're trying to get your Imperial Warriors in there, and he just kills one of his own Tengus to be able to break down multiple wall segments swiftly. It doesn't really work out as he hoped. Khay killing off one of his own Tengus and not getting a lot of value for it at the end of the day. Vindicator's now going to be coming in. One Tengu is here, but he's going to be trading out two of them, and there's the big Transformers. Two Apollos show up from DutchArmy. He's going to be able to trade out, kill two more Tengus, and that is the DutchArmy way. He does lose the Apollo there right at the end. Bit off a little bit too much more than he could chew, and that is a bit unfortunate for DutchArmy, but that was quite a nice handling of that engagement. A series of interesting choices, and it looks like Arrow 404 is going to be losing that flak cannon. Lots of Vindicators getting some work done for A&F, but he's still trying to bounce back and recover from having his third refinery smashed down so early. Khay, big into infantry and Tengus. It's all about those cheap units that are going to put some pressure on his opponents. Multi-gunner turret getting struck down, and Akula Sub going for a kill there. Vindicators paying a bit of a price there as they go after the Bullfrogs, and it's into the Twin Blades for Bluesmagoos. He's got Twin Blades, he's got Bullfrogs, he is ready to tango. And Khay took the back expansion, the one in between the bases, and that has worked out pretty well for Khay, because even though Khay has been aggressive, he has not been able to necessarily always keep this section of the map safe. And with DutchArmy being close and having so many aircraft, you do have to worry about the safety of a potential expansion there. Multi-gunner turrets getting added on. This is a Tier 2 seaport. So Hydrofoil is going to be coming on out, but also Assault Destroyers might be on the way, and this Akula Sub is going to have to get on out of here. Barely might survive, goes underwater just in time there. Cryoblast fires off, but it looks like the killed Harvester will escape. Well, the Harvester won't be killed after all, and instead the Harvester will be able to get back in and get back to work. Bluesmagoos going to be flying around with these Twin Blades, looking for an opening, looking for an opportunity. And it's going to be Bullfrogs and Tengus going to be defending this area. A couple of Terror Drones here as well. Didn't even realize the Terror Drones were there. They're not going to go for the Infect. They're just going to try and get on out of there. It's going to be Twin Blades versus Bullfrogs, and we all know who's going to be winning that fight as Bluesmagoos tries to get on out of there. Double Infect on some Bullfrogs, but they are going to be able to get into range of that Mecha Bay. No! Barely not in range of that Mecha Bay. Second one goes down as well. A bit unfortunate there. Two Bullfrogs probably won't be making the ultimate endgame difference in this match, but always nice when you can get a couple of extra kills there. YuNo showing up with a couple of Twin Blades. Will be trying to fight against this multi-gunner turret. Needs probably all 4 Twin Blades to really be able to take down that multi-gunner turret, and indeed, it will fall. The Tesla Coil is going to be the next target as Bluesmagoos Naval Yard getting shut down here. Dropping a Naval Yard in the south to try and help out Arrow 404, but it may not be working out as well as he hoped. Vindicator's coming back in for A&F. He's been able to make a couple of good bombing runs, but he's finally going to be paying the price with those Vindicators as the MiGs clear the skies. YuNo and Bluesmagoos going to be tangoing in the middle of the map. Terror Drones and Hammer Tanks, as it looks like all of the Bullfrogs have gone down, and the Hammer Tanks trying to leech away from each other, but it's 5 against 2, now 5 against 1, as this is just not quite a fair fight, and they're going to be earning back some of that health and also earning some of those double weapons. Assault Destroyers are out in the south, and it looks like DutchArmy is expanding out into the middle of the map, looking to take a 4th refinery in the north. Assault Destroyers and Riptides are indeed hanging out here for A&F, but can he step onto land and do some actual damage? He got smacked down a while ago, and he's only just now brave enough to come back out onto the water and try and take the fight to the enemy. Guardian tanks and an IFV or 2 in the north for DutchArmy. Harvester hunting. Meanwhile, Khay swings down into the middle of the map, looking to support YuNo, who's under a bit of pressure. This big Hammer Tank army has only gotten bigger since the last time we saw it, but A&F bringing in a couple of Vindicators, able to clean up a couple of those tanks right away, and now it's going to be up to the mecha units to step in for Khay and save YuNo. Gets 1 tank on the exit. Second tank won't be able to overwhelm 3 Hammer Tanks at once, as 1 Hammer Tank goes heroic there and goes golden even as he gets that little star next to his name. Prospector going to be getting on out of there. ANF has tried twice now. Oh my gosh. 3 double-barrel hammer tanks, or at least 2 double-barrel hammer tanks, and a 3rd regular old boring hammer tank, as the satellites are going to give this MCV a bit of space, but those hammer tanks just blast through that MCV so quickly with those double guns. As I said, ANF has tried twice now to take this expansion out on the water, and Dreadnoughts are not going to allow that to happen, trying to get some cash back on that Prospector being set up into a command hub, but it is not meant to be. One of the double-barrel hammer tanks does get grabbed, as it's going to be saved by a Tesla Trooper. Bluesmagoos getting fancy there, using Tesla Troopers as very few actually do, shutting down 2 APOC tanks, but finally one of the Tesla Troopers does go down, and the Bullfrog will pay the price for it. But no, at the last second, he disengages, trying to stop those Tesla Troopers. They are expensive, they are slow, and they seem to be so easy to kill. But a 3rd APOC tank is here. Meanwhile, up in the north, it looks like Khay and DutchArmy are getting ready to fight, but no. Backing off as Khay steps away, doesn't want to commit into the engagement, back into the middle of the map, as 1 APOC tank has gone down, but the other 2 are safe for now. A 3rd, aka 4th APOC tank, and that Tesla Trooper a moment too late as YuNo gets the kill. Twin Blades coming back over top of the army, and this APOC tank is going to be quite a prize for that hammer if he could ever leech down the gun. Khay reforming his army in the north, but down in the south. This is a proper 1v1v1 in this game, as Arrow 404 and ANF are going at it. Triple APOC tank, and Khay decides to leave the northern section of the map, coming down into the middle. Maybe he can find a weaker angle to engage. Cryoblast is going to be firing off, going to be catching a couple of the infantry, but there is no run and hide as the Guardian tanks get the crush. 2 tsunamis get caught in the freeze, and the rest go for the Javelin Troopers, as it's a bloodbath on both sides. Guardian tanks will win out just in superior numbers against the tsunamis, but there isn't much health left on these Guardians for the tank busters to deal with, and it's a grind in the middle of the map into dust as Bluesmagoos is unable to keep his units and buildings, really, away from the grinding treads of these APOC tanks. Barracks, War Factory, a refinery as well. Maybe not a War Factory, but Tesla coils also going to be all ground into dust. ANF losing the battle out on the water. YuNo winning the fight in the middle. DutchArmy and Khay coming out a bit equal in the north. Feels like DutchArmy maybe got the better end of that engagement as he was able to hold on to all of these expansions, and now he's doing a bit of harvester harassment. YuNo going to be turning to the south, perhaps looking to support ANF, who's activating some freeze rays, cleaning up a Dreadnought. So unfortunately for Arrow 404, he won't be able to keep up that long-range bombardment. He's going to need a fresh Dreadnought to head around the map with, and it looks like he's got it as he pushes ANF further back yet again, taking away another of ANF's 3rd refineries. ANF has tried to expand so many times and has just been pushed back and has failed to hold on to those expansions basically every time. This time the cryo shot does get dodged, but the Vindicators are still here. That's a shrunk down Vindicator. Excuse me, that's a shrunk down Dreadnought as the Vindicators come in and deal the death blow. 3rd refinery back up and running. At least ANF has been able to hold on to that oil derrick. That's a bit of income that is provided to ANF. 2 Tesla Troopers going to be holding off these... Oh, actually, that Tesla Trooper wasn't doing anything. Holding off those APOC tanks, but eventually the Tesla Troopers will get taken out by the V4s. Fresh refinery getting added on to the middle of the map for ANF. A little bit of harvester harassment coming in here as Khay is looking to do some damage to DutchArmy. He's going to find a power plant, maybe a refinery as well, and this is going to be difficult for DutchArmy to deal with. His entire army out in the middle of the map, low power mode as well. He's got no build radius back here, and there is just not much in the air that can stop this Empire player, but it may be a hit and run as Khay heads for the hills and just lets DutchArmy have a moment to recover. Twin Blades heading in as YuNo is looking for an opportunity to hit Bluesmagoos in the middle of the map. It's going to be the super reactor trying to take down the tech and the electricity at the same time. Multi-gunner turrets here from DutchArmy, and DutchArmy says, I might just go for it, make a run for the middle of the map, and bust through the infantry walls of Khay. The MCV is going to have to run for it, and the Tier 3 as well may be done for. As YuNo continues to win the fight in the middle of the map, DutchArmy is making serious headway in the north. Error 404 and ANF going to be trading blows back and forth, but Error 404 sending a ton of bears up to the north as well. MCV goes down. Nanotech mainframe, I can only assume, is next as it gets sold off. Khay loses the expansion out on the water and loses the fight on the front line, but backstabs as Khay is looking to take down all of the infrastructure of DutchArmy at the same time that DutchArmy is attacking the base of Khay. It's going to be a trade on the main bases. Who ultimately has done more damage? It's hard to say at this point as YuNo skating through the sky once again looking for that kill. ANF going to be going for the frozen super reactor. Bluesmagoos has been defeated. Everything gets handed over to DutchArmy, who honestly is still in a pretty good situation. If DutchArmy can knock Khay out, then this will turn from a 3v3 into a 2v2. There goes the mecha bay. So unless Khay has a naval yard somewhere out on the map, he is done in terms of production, and he does not have much of an army left after all of this. 2 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock for ANF, as ANF is looking to hold out against Error 404. We haven't been covering much of the action on the south. It looks like the Dreadnoughts have broken through almost everything that ANF has. So Bluesmagoos has collapsed on the left side of the map, but ANF has collapsed on the right side of the map. He's still got a decent number of cryocopters. Khay has all but been defeated. He has a couple of chopper VXs still in the works and 2 buildings left out on the map. Cryocopters trying to deal with these refineries of DutchArmy. YuNo looks like they are taking over the entire center of the map, and this assault destroyer can't last forever against all of these dreadnought missiles. Eventually, that airfield will get taken out, and it looks like the Crusher crane goes down. Error 404 and DutchArmy both joining forces. They've got a bunch of buildings up in the north here as a last bastion of defense. The two of these guys existing off of like one refinery in the north. DutchArmy has been beaten almost completely back. YuNo has free reign to take over much of the map. Error 404 still has 3 refineries in the south, going to be getting harassed a little bit here by Khay, who's swinging in with a bunch of double vet and heroic chopper VXs. Only one of them isn't fully heroic or double vet, and that guy is feeling a little bit lonesome, considering all of his friends got cool rank ups and badges, and he's just feeling a little bit silly. Super Reactor getting targeted down, nicely done, gets the kill, goes heroic on another Chopper VX. Big freeze in the north. The Apox can't survive it. The Twin Blades as well flying around it. No Tesla coils as it's low power for Error 404. It's up to DutchArmy, who shrinks one of the Apox, kills the other 2, and the Toxins might be a little bit too late, but they will clean up the infantry and stop this second wave of attacks from coming in. YuNo just donated a huge, vast amount of money into a meat grinder, but it's going to be a chronosphere to eliminate thousands of credits worth of DutchArmy's infantry. He just lost 3 or 4 grand worth of infantry, a bunch of peacekeepers, a handful of javelin soldiers as well, down the drain, and YuNo is looking to take over Bluesmagoos' old section of the map, splitting our team on the left side into north and south with a pocket of YuNo right in the middle. Refinery's getting frozen down. Technically, Khay is still in this game. I'm not sure where his units actually are. Okay, they're over here on the right side, and they are going to be able to catch these dreadnoughts. Goodbye to the ever-present, ever-dangerous fleet of Error 404. You have fired your last rocket, and it was a miss. Unfortunately for Error 404, those bullfrogs got no damage in return, and this Guardian tank is heroic. But will he actually make it to the war factory in time? He's got enough time. Oh, move a little bit closer. What is it in this game with people getting inches away from repairs and then just not realizing it? Unfortunately, that Guardian tank doesn't pay the price because he was heroic, so he was healing up that whole time as well. Twin Blades flying back over the map. This Twin Blade MiG combo from YuNo has done a huge amount of work. Always a present threat on the map, flying in and out, dodging between bases, finding every bit of weakness that it possibly can. A flak cannon is nice, but there's no way you have time. Super Reactor gets sold off, gets completely canceled there, and the flak cannon will get eaten up as well. Super Reactor gets replaced there next to the MCV, and these Vindicators, I don't even know if they dropped their bombs. I think they did nothing? Yeah, I don't think they did anything. YuNo is going to have 3 fresh refineries very soon underway and working away in Bluesmagoos' old main base. It is basically a 2v... It's not quite a 2v1. YuNo is really the only one with much infrastructure left to produce new units, but 4 or 5 cryocopters plus Vindicators, and then the amount of damage that Khay has been able to get done with these last remaining Chopper VXs. I don't think he has any Tengus left, but the last few remaining Chopper VXs is pretty impressive. He has done just a ton of damage. I guess he could be also spending his cash on building harvesters and switching them over to the gun mode, but I assume he's just holding his cash in a reserve, and eventually he'll lead the game and probably hand it over to YuNo, although it might go to ANF, and then ANF would just have a ton, you know, like 20,000 credits and no way to spend it. Couple of power plants going to be going down. IFV chases that. Striker finally gets it as the Chronosphere is ready to go again. Toxins getting dropped almost on the army, but there's going to be the return fire as YuNo finds the damage. The Chronosphere is ready to go, and there is going to be the attack as the Chronosphere goes out onto, I don't even know what, but those Guardian tanks perhaps trading places with an MCV or something like that. And it looks like, oh my gosh, those APOCs did actually die before they killed off that War Factory, but the Twin Blades will not die before they kill the War Factory, as that has to be it for DutchArmy. I think he is out of it in terms of production. No War Factory, no airfield, no MCV for DutchArmy, unless he's got some stuff in the south. It's just a couple of multi-gunner turrets, it looks like. No barracks for DutchArmy, just the army that you see is what you get, and that may have done it. YuNo coming through in a big way, but YuNo absolutely could not have done it alone. Khay and ANF have both played a huge role, somewhat limited role, but a huge role in this victory. And I guess it's not over yet, but that would be quite a failure of YuNo to lose from this kind of a position. IFVs get one of the choppers on the exit, the other one on the ground. YuNo drops 4 refineries on the left side of the map. Fresh refineries for YuNo, getting all of those bonuses. Cryogeddon fires off, catches a couple of Imperial War, or a couple of Peacekeepers, a couple of Javelin soldiers as well. APOC tanks are here. Strikers find the kills. Heroic Strikers managing to escape the guns of the IFVs, and there it is. DutchArmy has been defeated. We are in the final moments here, as it looks like these APOC tanks will be able to swing through. The rest of these units in the north going for the crush, getting the heals off of those crushes. And Arrow 404, there we go. Arrow 404 has been defeated, so that will do it. Game number 1 going to Khay, YuNo, and A and F. In a pretty action-packed 3v3, there was a ton going on in basically every corner of the map in that whole middle section where it was just a 1v1, 1v1, 1v1 in the north, middle, and south of the map. But that'll do it for game number 1. Let's jump into game number 2 and continue the subscriber replay showcase. All right. Are you guys ready for the next one? We'll see. I don't know if you know if you're ready for this one. Welcome to Cabana Republic for a 1v1 on the left side of the map as the Blue Allies. This is Atta. On the right side as the Yellow Soviets. This is Abdul 9919. 13. Abdul and Atta on Cabana Republic in a 1v1. What better way to follow up an absolutely manic, aggressive, explosive 3v3 than with a 1v1 on Cabana Republic with a couple of folks that I don't recognize the names of. Maybe these guys are good players that I'm just not familiar with, and maybe they are not that. It's a very early multi-gunner turret. I don't know that that multi-gunner turret is necessary. They have crates. All right. I think we are in for a treat. If there are crates and names that I don't recognize, you know, unprotected engineers at the beginning of the game. All right, so we are maybe in for a bit of a longer match. We'll see what strategy these guys have going for them. It is a flak cannon against allies, which, to be fair, that's a fair thing to do. Grab the money crate, though. This is, I mean, if the crates are here, you definitely want to be on the lookout for them. I don't know if, personally, I would go for the observation post before the oil derrick. Money helps you win games. Observation posts don't necessarily help you win games. Sometimes they do, but not necessarily. Engineers heading out unprotected along the southern part of the map. Double barracks from our allied player, but also double multi-gunner turret before the war factory, so... All right, war factory coming in. This is a war factory after super reactor, so we can go right into hammer tanks if he wants. And it looks like Atta is grabbing basically every neutral structure on the map. No, he's going to lose an engineer. A bit unfortunate there. He did already get the hospital, so he was already able to heal up that engineer. Big thanks to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon, such as Media Storm, Deadly Shadow, Anoxic, Freddy I, Spud, Admiral Akbar 47, Josh C. Big thanks to all of those guys. Always appreciated, never obligated. But as well as Cameron S, Abalaba, Otteric C, Chris A, Mr. Calhoun, Kay Rao, Milos M, Brett A, Jesse, Benjamin S, Blockade Runner, Jen H, Lolzoide, and a name that I cannot pronounce, Quixuan. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Peacekeepers tear apart those conscripts. Nice and easy. MCV heading to the high ground, going to potentially pick up this money crate. Well, you know. Maybe he didn't see it. And he grabs his opponent's observation post before grabbing his opponent's oil derrick, which I think the oil derrick is maybe the thing that is the more valuable one. H. Chris saying that he is one of the participants from the Kane's Wrath Holdout Challenge. Welcome to Red Alert 3. And X-Flame says, how long did you survive in the Holdout Challenge? And he says, not long, but longer than Sybert. Fair enough, fair enough. I was close to 5 minutes, so a couple of folks got a good while longer than that. But, you know, we all do what we can at our skill level. Oil derrick still unclaimed. Crusher Crane and a flak cannon both getting established on the high ground. Atta and Abdul. I'm going to make a guess that these two folks are friends, perhaps in real life, and, you know, just playing this one out. A friendly match amongst friends. Refineries getting deployed around the map. I think Atta has a much better setup than Abdul does, and we'll see how that turns into the mid and late game. But Atta is like triple expanding and taking over much of the map, so lot of infantry coming through the middle of the map. potentially a very strong infantry force. Conscripts, Tesla troopers, and flak troopers all mixed together. Guardian tanks aren't going for the crush, and instead the Guardian tanks are just getting cleaned up. A couple of peacekeepers would be able to clean up that army pretty easily. Dolphins and hydrofoils in the south going to be looking for an opening, looking for an opportunity to jump on. Still no one has grabbed that oil derrick. A lot of infantry, but the hospital has not been grabbed by Abdul just yet. Would be nice to be able to grab that hospital just to be able to have that healing on your infantry. That way you can get them back up to full health in between some of these engagements. A couple of them are pretty low on health. Dog comes forward, doesn't get the bark off, but the Tesla Trooper is going to be slowly marching their way forward. Six multi-gunner turrets are here, and it is a slaughter as Abdul walks into a meat grinder. He is up to tier 3, nothing building on that war factory. Only 5 hammer tanks out on the map, so he could definitely be going dreadnoughts. Nothing building at the naval yard. Wants to get maybe a couple of Akula subs, maybe some Stingrays, something to defend those dreadnoughts, even some twin blades to deal with the dolphins and the hydrofoils. Twin blades not so great of a choice at the hydrofoils, but they would clean up the dolphins quite quickly. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 refineries under the control of Atta. Low power for just a moment before another power plant gets established to keep the lights on. 1 oil derrick as well. Meanwhile, it's 3 refineries, 1 oil derrick for Abdul. Ooh, going for an expansion. The MCV up in the north. Tesla coil going to be getting dropped down as well. Multi-gunner turret gets thrown up here for Atta. He kept the command hub, which means he can have the build radius to set up those multi-gunner turrets. A couple of shots on this refinery from the Tesla coil. Going to be able to take down the harvester first, though. And it is going to be Akula subs and dreadnoughts coming out of that naval yard. So Abdul is not going to be going down quietly. He is going to be absolutely fighting for this. Second multi-gunner turret does get established, but the second Tesla coil is going to present a bit of a problem. Akula subs are about halfway there as well, and the Dolphins are going to be getting peppered by these dreadnoughts. A couple of Tesla coils as well, going to be presenting some problems for these hydrofoils. Dolphin gets tossed up into the air, and the hydrofoil gets eliminated by that Tesla coil. Back online, only low power for a minute, as Abdul and Atta are happy to fight this one out, mostly with those base defenses. A couple of more multi-gunner turrets coming online, Tesla coils as well. Akula subs are here to help break down these multi-gunner turrets, and I guess 3 multi-gunner turrets will actually kill an Akula sub before he can kill even the second multi-gunner turret. Second Tesla coil is getting established, and the fight for supremacy in the north might actually be won out by the Soviet player. He's at least knocked down one of the refineries, and he has a chance of getting up some more Tesla coils. He might have to kind of leapfrog them over, though, because 4 multi-gunner turrets, you can't deploy a Tesla coil in the middle of 4 multi-gunner turrets and have it work out for you. Naval Yard is a good choice. Refinery does get cleaned up on both sides. Replaced there by Atta. Dolphins and hydrofoils in the south. Couple of bears in the middle of the map. Still no one has claimed this oil derrick. One of 2 neutral structures that remain unclaimed in a game such as this. Dreadnoughts are heading to the north. The Dolphins and the hydrofoils were unable to keep them from making their way up there. MCV low on health is going to evac from the north, but the Dreadnoughts coming in are going to pretty easily shove all of this stuff away. That's a lot of multi-gunner turrets getting established. 2 more get built and then destroyed as the Dreadnoughts clear out the entire northern sea. More multi-gunner turrets get dropped, and more multi-gunner turrets get blown up. Athena cannons, more multi-gunners, as this is just a nice slow build-up from these 2 gents. A couple of friendly folks having a friendly match between friends. And just enjoying their time in Red Alert 3. Building a bunch of stuff, having fun between the two of them. No one can blame them for that. A couple of assault destroyers trying to hold their own against the mighty Soviet fleet. 2 dreadnoughts do make it, or 3 dreadnoughts now, do make it quite a difficult thing to hold off. Command hub could be targeted down just to eliminate the build radius from the allied player. And maybe the Soviet MCV will start rebuilding some of these buildings. Meanwhile, in the south, hydrofoils and dolphins making their way in. MCV made its way to the south, took an expansion out on the water. And it looks like with the build radius here, this allied refinery, this allied expansion, is not much longer for the world. I still feel like Atta is in a pretty decent spot. We'll see. You know, Dreadnoughts might be the end of him. Athena cannons are nearby. Aircraft carrier is also nearby. It might be the battle of the fleets. Refinery coming up. Gets an outpost as well. I think you could have just walked with the buildings. You could have just base crept over to the other expansion. Refinery in the south going down. MCV gets destroyed. There is still a crusher crane up in the north. Still a war factory in the south, as well as a naval yard. So still the ability to rebuild no matter what happens. Akula subs are here. They should be able to jump on one of these aircraft carriers. May not get the kills on the other ones, but they should be able to get the kill on at least one. Dolphins are also here. Akula subs trying to target down this double vet aircraft carrier, and it even goes golden just before it dies, handing away a double vet status to that Akula sub. Something getting cleaned up here of the Soviet players, possibly just a Tesla coil getting eliminated there, as these 3 Akula subs continue to hunt down these aircraft carriers. Another aircraft carrier goes down, and the third one getting targeted. Nicely done. Dreadnoughts. Ooh, XonURhed going to be holding these units in a stasis. Meanwhile, one of them gets targeted down by these Athena cannons. Those Athenas went directly over that bonus crate, and triple Athena cannon burns it down, but not before a rocket gets off, and that's going to be 1 dead Athena cannon, but not a second dead Athena cannon. Atta will defend the high ground. Abdul, I'm starting to feel a little bit better for Abdul. He cleaned up the aircraft carriers in the south. He has taken this expansion in the north, and even though he lost this refinery here, I'd be feeling a little bit better if he was able to get this refinery up and running up here. When you are into the stage of the game where, you know, aircraft carriers and Athenas are out, you definitely want to be careful about overspending on static D, because static defenses can still be helpful, but when every player has artillery that can easily outrange and destroy static defense, you can also way overspend on static defense rather than units. Like, going for a ton of twin blades would be better than building... Oh, that dreadnought actually does go down. Would be better than building, like, 14 Tesla coils up here. I guess he's only got 1 up here, but still, building twin blades instead of Tesla coils will probably fare better in the long term, especially against a player who's got artillery. Proton Collider is here. Chronosphere is here as well. Nothing in terms of super weapons from the Soviet player. Tanya is also out on the map. Money crate. I almost feel like these money crates are invisible. Tanya doesn't win a fight with a Tesla coil. Akula sub's going to be able to take down that refinery. One of these Akula subs has gone heroic as they clear out these assault destroyers one by one. And we get to see the lovely wave simulations coming in from Red Alert 3, dissipating as they get further and further out from the area of effect. Quite a choppy little engagement there. Tanya still up in the north. Sentry Bomber's going to be coming out. They should be able to get the Dreadnought, although if the Dreadnought moves too much, they might mostly miss. Chronosphere is ready. Could also Chronosphere the Dreadnought into land or something. And there's going to be the XonURhed. Freezes those... okay, what? Yeah, when they're underwater... Ooh. Atta, we just watched learning happen. Atta just had a thought, tried something, and then it didn't quite work out. And unfortunately for Atta, yeah, it was a nice attempt, but it didn't quite work out the way he thought it would. And as a result, he's got to reset that chronosphere, wait another 3 minutes, and then try something again. Sentry Bombers hoping that these Akula subs come to the surface, even though there isn't a particular reason. But, you know, they're just hoping that those guys come to the surface. Akula sub's going to be making a suicide run into the allied base. Fully heroic Akula sub does have pretty decent range. Not enough to totally win out against a Spectrum Tower, but actually might be able to outrun a Spectrum Tower. No, barely not. Oh, well, that aircraft carrier does survive. Sentry Bombers going to be leveling the refinery in the north. And Atta and Abdul, they're taking this one at their own pace. Chrono Rift going to be holding these tanks in place, waiting for the Guardians to line up. This is actually, I don't know if this is enough Guardians to kill 5 Hammers. We'll find out if 4 Guardians and a multi-gunner IFV. The infantry inside of the building also going to be making this a bit more of a difficult fight for the allied player. IFVs go down quite quickly. Guardian tanks get eaten up after that. No switch over to the Leech to steal any of the guns, but the Chronosphere and the Proton Collider are both ready to go. It's going to be in the north that the Proton Collider finds its mark directly on the base defenses and on the Sputnik that was there. Super Reactor does get rebuilt basically immediately. And let's see, Tanya is going to try and find her way in. Does get cleaned up by the Stingray and the Tesla Coil. As, well, Sentry Bombers are going to make a run. MiGs and Bullfrogs, couple of flak cannons as well, going to find their marks. And the Sentry Bombers will get cleaned up. The long road home is fraught with danger. But most of the Sentry Bombers actually do survive the night. MiGs not so lucky, as they are indeed... Oh, that was the wrong button. Made of paper, and a couple of MiGs going down as they fly over the Javelin soldiers. Chronosphere as... Where are these guys going? Those are Athena cannons. Okay, canceled. So the Chronosphere gets canceled. Could send them here. That would be one place. All right, a couple of Mirage tanks maybe as well. Into the back door of the Soviet base. And yes, there are a couple of Mirage tanks and Assault Destroyer as well. Going to be a big target down on those Tesla Coils. One Tesla Coil goes down, but it trades out the Assault Destroyer and one of the Athena cannons as well. War Factory going to get targeted down, and it looks like it will be lights out for one of those Athena cannons. It was an attempt, but it's going to be up to the Precision Bomber to clean up some of the infantry. War Factory gets reestablished. There are 2 Athena cannons on the north side, so they're going to come out of hibernation, and they should be able to target down that battle lab. We'll see if they actually get the kill. No, they're actually going for the Bullfrogs, so they will burn through the Bullfrogs, rank up a couple of times. If they go fully heroic, that'll be nice, especially the additional damage and range. One of them going heroic. Hammer tanks now going to be closing in. The Athena cannons will go down if they're not able to deal with these hammer tanks, and that is a fully heroic hammer, but a fully heroic Athena is going to run for its life. Sentry Bombers might be a nice addition to this army. And, well, that will be it. Atta and Abdul going to be fighting for a little while longer. Magnetic Satellite going to be catching a couple of IFVs. That the second and third IFVs literally drove into it. They did not do much to escape that low-tech Magnetic Satellite. 3 more Dreadnoughts are here. Abdul, is he slowly but surely doing this? Oh, Oil Dark did get grabbed. After Proton Collider and Chronosphere and early expansions were all taken by the allied player, it looks like Abdul might be finding a way forward, might be finding a way to come back. Ooh, Command Hub here and a couple of Athena cannons. Could target them down. Chronosphere is ready, and look at that. Look at those Dreadnought missiles just frozen in air. If you ever wondered what happened to dreadnoughts when they get chrono rifted. That is what happened. Once again, Proton Collider finds its mark in the north. Doesn't quite get the super reactor. Chronosphere is ready for maybe a round 2. Dreadnoughts are going to get laced by these sentry bombers. And the Proton Collider may actually go down here. One more rocket will do it. Nicely done. That Dreadnought is a hero of the people. And he is actually going to be going toe-to-toe with that aircraft carrier. Toe-to-toe is a little bit misleading, perhaps, when you have 3 Akula subs helping you out as well. But, you know, the Akula subs and the Dreadnought both going against that aircraft carrier. And he gets the Tier 3 as well. Gets a power plant also. Never a bad thing to get a power plant. Although this may be the last run of that Dreadnought. Aircraft carrier will be able to clean it up. And last couple of missiles. Okay, they're just spread out. Spread out. Chronosphere ready to go. Cancels that Chronosphere. There we go. Gets the Akula subs. Oh, no. One of them was, I guess, registered as underwater. I thought he got both of them, but I guess one of them didn't count as being above water or surfaced, and so it survived the Chronosphere. Or maybe it was off by like 1 hex or something. Who wins the fight between the Assault Destroyer and the... Well, the Naval Yard loses, but who wins the fight between the Akula sub and the Assault Destroyer? Looks like the Akula sub will eventually die. This health bar is looking weird on the Akula sub. That health bar was looking like it was super dead, but it actually survived much longer than I thought. I don't know what the visual glitches are doing today. Tanya's back out onto the field. Soviet force coming through the middle of the map. Infantry and hammer tanks. Twin blades! We've done it, boys! We survived long enough for the twin blades. It is a immutable fact of life that a Soviet player will build twin blades. Magnetic Satellite grabs a couple of vehicles there. Fortunately, it doesn't grab the weapons of the infantry, although that would be pretty funny if he just had a bunch of infantry with no weapons. Hammer tanks going to get sent forward. You would think the conscripts would be the fodder for the hammer tanks, but in this case, the hammer tanks are the fodder for the conscripts. Satellite's also getting called down, and Tanya is going to get a couple of shots off here, but it's really about the peacekeepers grinding through and crushing everything in their path. And look at that, Mirage tanks, IFVs. Not actually doing that much, but the final satellite will take down one of the war factories. Second war factory still online. Still tier 3. Still cranking away for this allied player. 4 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock. Well, 25 seconds for the vacuum imploder. Only a couple of seconds until the chronosphere, so there could be a last-ditch effort. And, well, 2 Tesla coils are nearby. 1 Tesla coil down there. Yeah, there isn't really a safe pocket. 3 Tesla coils nearby, actually. There isn't really a safe pocket. You could try to go here. There's a lot of collision potentially there. So, not sure that your units would survive very long. Could go a bunch of Mirage tanks and just try and suicide on the vacuum imploder. Not a lot of easy... Well, never mind. 4 sentry bombers might do the trick. Sentry bombers coming to the south. You might lose a couple of them on the exit, but it will be more than worth it to stop the vacuum imploder. There we go. They get their bombs dropped. Vacuum imploder goes down and actually riffs, chrono shifts all of the bullfrogs as well. So the MiGs don't even give chase. A couple of V4s, a couple of hammer tanks moving their way through the middle of the map. Could just slowly work away at those units. Time bomb as well on top of those bullfrogs. Tanya looking to jump inside of those hammer tanks. Chronosphere activated, but it just groups all of the units together. I think he was trying to chronosphere them either onto the high ground or into the cliff, but it really just joined them together. Oh no, the V4s. The friendly fire unit, the V4 and the Dreadnought. We haven't seen any Kirovs, and that actually makes me pretty sad. I don't know what this magnetic satellite is supposed to be targeting. You can't grab buildings. Some people don't realize you can actually control the magnetic satellite. So that is like a selectable object, and you can direct it to chase units. Although maybe he was doing that earlier. Maybe he does know that. It just seems like a weird thing to magnetic satellite the multi-gunner turrets. Dreadnoughts, V4s, land dreadnoughts, some people call them. But vacuum imploder back online. Ooh. V4s get a couple of more shots off. Atta and Abdul, they're just locked in this engagement. Ooh, flying over a bunch of javelin soldiers. Never fun. A couple of multi-gunner turrets are also here, and they may have found a good angle. 4 of these twin blades may actually survive from the multi-gunner turret attacks. Yeah, they're just barely out of range there. So the Chronosphere is getting hit by V4s, getting hit by twin blades as well. Hammer Tank goes for the crush, but it's not quite going to be enough, and it's up to the V4s to finish off those infantry. Twin blades should have an easy time jumping over here and cleaning all of this up now. Or go for the naval yard, cutting down one of those tier 3 naval yards. I guess the other one already got destroyed. Yeah, the other one already got destroyed. So that's the end of the aircraft carriers. Real quick, let's take a look. These guys have not been spending very much money. They have been spending all of their money. Oh my gosh. How is that possible? I guess they do have a lot of units, but like it doesn't feel like they have that much stuff. For having 6 refineries, feels like Abdul should have a lot more stuff. Long-distance mining, okay. Atta is long-distance mining in the north here. Satellites getting called in once again on this little cluster of power plants. That should actually take down 3, maybe 4 of these 5 power plants. And Soul Destroyer going to be taking a bit of damage there. Some nice kills. Might be low power mode. It is low power mode. Nicely done. You can jump on the remaining power plants. Target down that weak one as well. Going to be calling in the magnetic satellite. He gets that assault destroyer. Abdul is finding it. GG gets called, and we are out of this game. There we go. Abdul manages to secure the win without ever firing off a vacuum imploder, and that's something that we didn't expect. I thought the vacuum imploder was going to fire off. We got several proton collider shots, but no vacuum imploder shots. And I think these two guys just having fun, having a good time between the two of them, and good for them. Big economic advantage in the middle of the game for Atta, which is what we saw, but then a pretty sharp drop-off as Abdul took over basically everything on the map. And that will do it for that game. Let's go ahead and jump into the next one. Maybe even delete a couple of these replays because I don't actually need them anymore. Oh, we got ourselves another 1v1 on our hands. Do you have any interest in Tempest Rising? Yes. Yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what that team has going for it, and also because Wayward Strategy is working on the game as well. I'm excited to see, you know, he's been writing about and talking about RTS games, playing RTS games for many, 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 many years, and he's been working on a couple of RTS games recently, and I think this is the first, maybe the second one that's been publicly announced. I guess he's also working on a cat and dog RTS game, which I'm also very excited for. But yeah, I'm excited to see this new crop. There's 3, maybe 4 or 5 decent-sized RTS games that all have been announced, or like, you know, we're working on something like, obviously, Frost Giants, Stormgate. We've seen a little bit for that, but, you know, who knows when it will actually come out. So Tempest Rising is, YuNo says, looking like another CNC, and it's like, well, you get a bunch of guys who are Command & Conquer fans together, and yeah, that's not too much of a surprise. I think there's a company called 7 Volt Games that's working on something like Commanding Nations or something, which is very clearly Generals, but new. So I'm also interested in that. There's a bunch of stuff that's all... I guess this is like when Grey Goo and Active Aggression There's another one as well. Commanding... I don't remember. Active Aggression, Grey Goo, and there was at least one more. When they were all coming out, and we were all, you know, hot off of the cancellation of Command & Conquer Generals 2, a.k.a. Command & Conquer Free-to-Play, and we were like, all right, we got these, like, Command & Conquer, in theory, kind of potential games, and it's like, Grey Goo, for me, not my cup of tea. Active Aggression, for me, not my cup of tea. Although, from what I understand, in the last couple of years, both of those games have had a bit of a revitalization. People have come up with custom, community-made modifications to the game that make them a bit more good for competitive play, but it's just like, we went through this already with all of these RTS games with a lot of potential, a lot of promise, and then ultimately falling flat on their face, for me. And now I'm kind of wondering, is this new crop of RTS games going to just do sort of the same thing, where it's like they have all of this potential and promise, and they all have their 15 minutes in the sun. You know, Grey Goo had their big World Championship tournament, and then nothing. And it's like, I am cautiously excited, I guess. Hopeful and optimistic, but, you know, with a little bit of cynicism, a little bit of experience of we've already done this and it didn't work out. Amorg13 says, I'm not saying you're bad, Sybert. Still love you, but would be awesome to see you comment your own game. Well, I have news for you. I actually just recorded myself playing through the Ants campaign in Red Alert Remastered, and I will be posting that relatively soon as I get the edit done. So you will get to see me playing through that. So I would say, do you have any interest in Tempest Rising? My actual answer is, yes, I'm interested in all of the RTS games that have been announced, but I'm cautiously interested. Oh, Company of Heroes 3 also. I'm curious because I did not get into Company of Heroes 2 just as a matter of, like, I didn't purchase the game. Not that I, like, got in and I was disappointed. I never got into it. But I played Company of Heroes 1 and I enjoyed that on the single player side, so. Also curious about Company of Heroes 3. Although, is that one already out? I literally have no idea. It could already be out. So I'm very interested in all of them and also cautious about all of them. Sybert joining FFAs. No, like not today. I've played FFAs in the past, but things that are certain in life: death, taxes, and twin blade spam. Yes, that is that's true. Ah, 17th of November for Company of Heroes 3. Okay, that is good to know. I did not miss it. Although November 17th, we have a big Thanksgiving get-together. Wifeward and I, we're hosting Thanksgiving for basically both sides of our family. Well, not my side of the family, but my mom is coming into town. So then we'll see. November 17th might be a bad time to pick up a new RTS game. H. Chris says, played a bit of Company of Heroes 3 at Gamescom, has a decent look, played Company of Heroes before. Yeah, you know, ultimately, I don't like command point capture RTSs as much as I like just StarCraft Command and Conquer economy style RTSs. But I've also watched a decent amount of Company of Heroes 2 and been, you know, interested and engaged, I guess, by the gameplay and by the videos. So, you know, who knows? All right, you boys and girls ready? Are you ready to rock and or roll? Welcome to the map Secret Shrine for game number 3 of this subscriber replay showcase. On the south side, playing as the Purple Soviets, this is SupremeCommande. No, not Supreme Commander. Yes, I thought the same thing. Wow, Crane first. Okay, I thought the same thing, Supreme Commander, and then I did a double take at the name, and I was like, oh, it's SupremeCommande. I don't know about that. Airfield first from our Red Allies player in the north. This is SAZUKI. This is a random v random. So you may be saying to yourself, Allies versus Soviets, but it is not an intentional Allies versus Soviets. It is indeed a random v random. I don't know where this game came from. I don't know who these players are. I mean, it was sent to me over email. But there's this guy who sent in a couple of replays, and I don't know where he got all of these replays from, but he said basically he doesn't have Red Alert 3 installed, and so he can't check the replays himself. He just found these from somewhere, and so he sent them over to me. And if this is one of those Secret Shrine replays, then these are just like random people. The last 2 Secret Shrine... Okay. He just sold and rebuilt all of those base defenses. It was a Vindicator that dropped a single bomb. I don't even know. I guess he bomb split somewhere. Oh, there's crates here as well. So if this is... Then this was sent in by just a guy who found these replays on the internet. The last time he sent in a Secret Shrine game, it was like 2 Russian players, not Soviet players. 2 Russian players. I think they were both playing Soviets. I think it was a Soviet mirror, but it was 2 Russian players in a tournament who were playing on Secret Shrine. That to be said, I don't know that either one of the players in this game actually have sent in this replay. Low power mode as this Vindicator makes the escape. And, well, this MCV moves up to the 3rd refinery location in the top right-hand corner of the map. 2 more Vindicators going to be coming in for a bit of a bombing run. They should be able to get this power plant. It's pretty low on health. Okay. So they attacked the other power plant, and only one of the Vindicators attacked the other power plant. And the other Vindicator did indeed die. YuNo says that they play Red Alert 3 and StarCraft 2 on a competitive level. I do love me some StarCraft 2. Don't cast or play it, really. But I do love... Well, not anymore. But I do love some StarCraft 2 action. Okay, so SAZUKI is actually bomb splitting. So that is, you know, that is a level of knowledge of the game that is above the minimum. MCV expands and moves on for SAZUKI, so... Although these Vindicators dying to these flak troopers is sort of a low level of knowledge of the game. Lots of flak cannons out on the ground. By the way, big thanks to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon, such as The Arbiter, Joel S., Yuri S., David R., Isaac H., Paul D., Jinwick, Dominic V. Always appreciated. As well as Havasman, Razor Crest, Lieutenant Victor, Nikola Tesla himself, the great inventor, who died, you know, 5 or 6 years ago at least. Vindicators coming in. They finally kill the power plant. Hey, we got it, boys. Finally. Trades out 2 Vindicators for it. So 2,400 credits versus the, like, 800 of the reactor. Yikes. Nikola Tesla, David Borsodi, and SupremeCommande. Big thanks to all of those guys, as well as the others, for supporting the channel over on Patreon. Expansions into the corner of the map as these guys set up their mid to late game economies. Reactor getting established. Okay, he did... Oh, yeah, he did open Crane first. That is right. He did open Crane first. Refinery? Yep, refinery indeed. So it is 4 refineries for the Allied player. Quite a big map, Secret Shrine. Lots of paths, lots of routes that you can take between the bases. Okay, these Vindicators are looking for a different entrance into the Soviet base. Oh, oil derricks are there and there. They have not been captured by either one of the players. Are the Vindicators going all the way for the corner? I guess they could. It would be some early damage. Oh, that ore refinery got started a long time ago. He was extremely low on cash, extremely low on income, and the refinery is already at half health. Honestly, with how little it's constructed, it would probably be worth it canceling that refinery and restarting it. Double vet MCV. That would be sick if the MCV ranked up. Got the bonus crate. That'd be so cool. A veteran MCV. Build, if you go heroic, your MCV builds stuff faster. That would actually be sick. I think that would actually work. I was going to say that would be stupid for... oh. Not just Blogger is raiding. Thanks. Is that a good thing? I don't know anything about Twitch, so I think raids are good, but I also know that you can say that, like, only my friends can raid my channel. So a raid's sometimes good and sometimes bad. I don't know. If raids are good, thank you, whoever did that. And if they're bad, why you gotta be like that? Oh, no, this cryocopter. Oh, that cryocopter gets one shrink. Oh, no. Oh, no. He doesn't even bomb out the shrunken bullfrog. Oh, down to a watery grave go those Vindicators. 5 Vindicators. What? He takes this expansion over there. I guess he's double expanding to the water. SAZUKI going to be taking a ton of expansions. Cryo shot comes in, freezes that harvester, and it looks like one of the Vindicators maybe dies on the exit as these flak cannons get a kill. Harvester has not been restarted. It's a bit of a tough case for the Soviet player. He does have the oil derrick, but having only 2 working refineries and having a crane and an MCV is a difficult thing to do. You don't have a lot of cash. His production facilities are mostly doing nothing. Wah, wah. Oh, that poor... I mean, I don't know that we need any sympathy here, but SAZUKI tried to come in here and kill that super reactor, miscalculates it because of the way that sentry bombers drop their bombs in a line. Obviously, if they dropped them all in one place, you would only need like 2 sentry bombers. You wouldn't even need 3. But, and the Vindicator gets cleaned up. I hope you have a time bomb or something, because that's probably the only way until the sentry bombers refuel that you are going to be able to take down that refinery. A couple of Mirage tanks here. Anytime you see dots on the minimap that just suddenly disappear, something either died, got sold, or it's a Mirage tank. These flak troopers, they're like jittering with anticipation. They so want to go and attack that assault destroyer, but he's just barely out of range. They just can't do it, man. Cryoblast going to be firing off. Cryo shot, rather. I don't know if Cryo shot actually freezes Enabler Yard. I feel like it doesn't. EMP locks down that harvester. This harvester just wants to do his job. His brother got killed by a cryo shot earlier, and now he's getting EMP'd. Hydrofoil is going to lay waste to those twin blades. And this allied player is pretty much just slapping down the Soviet player. Red is fairly dominating over purple in this case, although maybe these twin blades will eventually, and this Akula will eventually get the kill on this aircraft carrier, because there is literally no defense for this aircraft carrier. Drones getting taken down, and goodbye as those drones get rejected on their attack path. Still, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 5 refineries, 6 refineries for our allied player. 4 sentry bombers, but, you know, they could go on a bombing run against the super reactor, against the war factory, airfield, you know, kind of take your choice. You could kill a bunch of stuff with those sentry bombers and then replace them. Mirage tank does avoid getting attacked because he's a tree. Twin Blade's going to try and jump on the Mirage tank. There are a couple of Javelin soldiers inside of here. They will be able to clean up one Twin Blade. Second Twin Blade does manage to escape. A nice jumping on the Athena cannon. Okay, good object identification and murder there. As you always want to know which of the objects can I quickly murder and which ones will take a little bit longer. Cryocopters do take a little while, but they do go down eventually. And this sentry gunner is so ready. These two sentry gunners are just so ready for any infantry to try and cross this bridge. You could nuke the bridge with the dreadnoughts, but honestly, you don't even need to with the sentry guns here. Like, they will take a while to chew through the Riptides, but it's only 2 Riptides, so. Cryoblast on top of the sentry guns. One of them going to get frozen down immediately as the sentry bombers coming in. They deal with the War Factory, and they might die on exit, but at least they will have completed their mission. All of the sentry bombers going down. Honestly, taking down the Dreadnought might have been the better target there, but he gets the War Factory. There wasn't a lot being produced by the War Factory, so it's kind of a, you know, curious choice as to whether or not that was worth it. A couple of 1v1s in the midst of these team games, and, well, I hope these guys are friends as well. I think the last 2 guys were friends, just having a friendly old time. So, buddies that are just enjoying playing Red Alert 3 together. No hydrofoils means another dead aircraft carrier, a couple of assault destroyers as well. Hydrofoil is here, though, so he can chase away those twin blades. Soviet units are going to try and re-engage. EMP has worn off, as these twin blades going to be able to quickly deal with that dreadnought, or with that assault destroyer, and the hydrofoils are going to be able to push away the twin blades. One twin blade might go down, and the terror drone is going to get taken out as the dreadnought gets the kill on that assault destroyer. Twin blades coming back in for another attack. Hydrofoils will eventually be dealt with, and the Soviet player is once again winning the battle of the seas. Bye-bye. Assault destroyer goes down. Dreadnought goes double vet. Honestly, if this MCV just moves over here and like starts Tesla pushing this allied player, I'm not sure. He might just fall apart as he tries to deal with the pressure from multiple sides. Sentry bombers dropping their bombs. I think maybe cleaning up one. No, they didn't get the Dreadnought. I'm not sure what they bombed. I think they might have bombed a Stingray. Hydrofoil's going to be causing some problems for this Soviet Navy. Twin Blade shows up. Twin Blade gets knocked down, but the other Twin Blades won't. They'll get the kill on that naval yard. Satellites as well going to be dropping, and they will pass through those Twin Blades. Sentry bombers mostly do survive, and Apollos versus Twin Blades versus Bullfrogs, as that Bullfrog just steals the $1,000 right from the ground, gets himself a little bit of a payday. The IFV is going to clear the skies, and that was just an absolute mess of an engagement. Just absolute silliness, as eventually everything dies, sort of on both sides, but mostly just on the Soviet side. MCV packs itself up. Oh, where are you going? Oh, I was hoping he was going on a Tesla push. Maybe he is. He's just taking a little bit of a different route. Oh, Dreadnought almost goes down, but gets saved barely by those Twin Blades. Where are you going, MCV? Tesla push. Tesla push. Tesla push. Tesla push. Come on. Yeah! Here we go! We got the Tesla push. Twin Blades as well. It's like Christmas for a Soviet player. Could have killed the building first. Ooh, IFV is gonna try and cross the bridge. Hope no one blows the bridge up with all of these units on it. Hope no one blows up the bridge. Hope they don't collapse the bridge. Twin Blade dives on that on the Athena cannon, but the IFV gets the kill before going down itself, and the Allied ground army just disintegrates. And the bridge, woo, yeah! The bridge goes down as well. Cryo shot lands on that Dreadnought. There is still a second Dreadnought here as well. It's firing its rockets. It's trying to do its thing. Scrambling the jets to try and get them out onto the field. Yeah, that Tesla coil, going for it. Get that ore refinery. You earn that money. You deserve it. This MCV is not moved. Oh, I guess all of these buildings are tier 3, I think, off of this command hub. It doesn't draw the lines back. I think it's that one command hub, so you could actually kill that command hub, and you could totally reset the tech of every single one of these allied production structures. Even the naval yard, which already got taken out, but the double airfield, the war factory, the boot camp, you know, all of that stuff just gets annihilated. Clean up the command hub. Yeah, there you go. All right, SupremeCommande. He is, both last game and this game, I feel like the allied player was in an amazing spot early on and then just got, just sat there, basically, as the Soviet players slowly took over the map. Although, no, it's time to strike back. Is this an engineer cap of this corner base? Because if so, that's going to be pretty funny, and I will enjoy it. We will do a hearty fake laugh if an engineer caps. Oh. Boo! Oh, and the dog gets crushed as well. Unfortunate. 6 minutes on the clock for the vacuum imploder. Although sentry bombers might be able to rush in. Check that out. You would need, I think, more than 4, because I think one of the sentry bombers would die on entrance. A little bit of cash on the ground, by the way. Only one player has some build radius here. Goes for it. Fully heroic Twin Blade does survive, although the other Twin Blade does also survive, so that was just a good engagement for the Soviet player. Win all around. Ooh, Athena Cannon on the high ground gets the kill on that Tesla coil, and now is going to be able to burn down this. Ooh, Twin Blades get the kill on the Athena Cannon, but the Apollos get the kill on every single Twin Blade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5! As they bring them crashing down to the ground, and the Allied player takes back over this corner expansion. APOC tank! Don't skip leg day. Also, don't skip rotor day, as that Twin Blade manages to lift an APOC tank to the top right-hand corner of the map. Should have brought a second Twin Blade with a Sputnik along as well. And then you could just take the expansion as the Apollos are on the hunt. Yeah, you can kill the Twin Blade, sure. But, like, what are you going to do about the APOC tank? Just kidding. Cryocopter will shrink it down. It'll be easy to deal with. Cryogeddon fires off on this... Wait, what is there to kill it? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good Cryogeddon, but what is actually there to kill it? Nothing. He wastes the Cryogeddon. No, no, no. That's a long reset. APOC tank grabs that harvester. Here we go. Grindy, grindy. Nom, 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 nom. Just starts another harvester. Like, just don't worry about the... Ooh, the spy is going to grab the APOC tank. These are the moves that we need. Oh! What was that? Oh, that was a Mirage tank. That was a Mirage tank, like, set to hold position or something that he just ran over. And this is a fully heroic APOC tank tearing its way through an allied base. A lot of players have been asking for this. And, hey, it doesn't happen in the pro matches, but it can happen here in whatever match this is. Even the spy couldn't get close enough to take over the mind of this APOC tank. There's a second spy here just waiting. Don't drive into him. Don't drive into him. He wants that. And there goes. One single blast from that APOC tank. There we go. Tanya on the other side of the map, though, blasting her way. No, Natasha gets the kill. Natasha gets the kill. The Crusher Crane and the Vacuum Imploder both go down. Sentry Bomber's going to try and hit the tank, but Sentry Bombers are terrible against targets. They're good against lines of things. A third spy. Third spy's the charm, is how the phrase goes. Oh, the Allied player actually took over this this corner of the map. There we go. Ha ha ha. He did manage to capture that one with an engineer. And this is still a purple tank. It is not a red tank. Spy is going to try and close in. He's waiting for it. He's not waiting for it. Oh! What was that? We saw the $1,000. Did he not have the money in the bank? Or was that just a bit of lag and he didn't quite realize that it didn't actually land? Either way, this is still SupremeCommande's APOC tank. Is there still a couple of missiles, bombs here? What are they called? Rockets, missiles, bombs, whatever they are. You don't actually need to kill the defense bureau. Just kill the command hub, and that'll kill the build radius, and then basically there's nothing left. Mirage tanks do eventually show up. While the APOC tank is grinding your most important tech structure, that might be a good time to go for the kill on the APOC tank. Oh, those Mirages were set to hold fire stance or something, but no! The Mirage is actually getting free damage against the rear armor. The Mirage goes golden as he gets heroic, and, well, this Dreadnought now shows up. All right, this is a bit of a mess for both players. The MCV is still running around the map somewhere. Running around the map, by that I mean it hasn't moved in like 25 minutes. Satellite's getting called down. Bonk. Three power plants go down there. Allied player has a ring of refineries basically surrounding the Soviet player. But I don't actually know who's close to victory at this point. I feel like anything could happen. Magmageddon fires off in the north. Looks like it missed the Dreadnought, or there was just nothing there to kill the Dreadnought, so. Refinery in the south will be taken. Still 3,500 credits in that ore mine, so it is definitely worth it. MCV has rebuilt, although he's teching up on the command hub. Triple naval yard. 49 minutes into the game or whatever. Goes triple naval yard. Twin blades in the bottom right-hand corner going to be targeting down this refinery. Get the refinery, get the harvester as well. SupremeCommande starting to take back the southern half of the map. He is back in it. Goes for another vacuum imploder. I guess we'll see if another Tanya is able to sneak in there. Precision bomber. Ooh, I don't know if I agree with that, because the Riptide probably would have gone fully heroic from that. Then you get the free repairs on the Riptide. I mean, sure, the Precision Bomber will kill a little bit faster. No, don't drive the Riptide into the toxins. Does he survive? Oh, he does. All right, he's going to be able to get repairs. No heroic status for that Riptide, though. Oh, well, oh, well. APOC tanks moving out on the left side of the map. Allied Navy moving through the middle of the map. Dreadnoughts getting some free shots off as MiGs clear out the, MiGs clear out the Apollos. Dreadnoughts try and clear out the hydrofoils. Yeah, MiGs versus aircraft carrier drones is not like a super good engagement. Ooh, if you get the grinder, if you get the magnetic harpoon, M-harpoon, it's magnetic harpoon, excuse you. On those aircraft carriers, you could drag them to the ground. Here we go. Boom, low power mode. I guess SupremeCommande won't be able to make the comeback happen. Loses the power, and now his base is getting assaulted. He gets the snipe on one of the assault destroyers, and they back off. Okay, he does actually break the lock, so one of those assault destroyers does actually survive. Heroic Mirage tank. Where are you going? No! Heroic Mirage tank. Okay, Natasha doesn't actually get the kill. That Badger bomber coming in for like such an attempt. Never actually able to get the kill there. Natasha does go down. Nicely done. Terror drone could potentially get the infect on that Mirage tank and kill it. And this might be the last days of this Soviet player. APOC tanks going down as they try and transfer back to the main base. Vacuum imploder gets eliminated for the second time in this game. Mirage tank goes down. Now this assault destroyer is going to get... No, actually, nothing will happen because it gets saved by the aircraft carrier drones. Too bad for the Soviet players. SupremeCommande, it looks like, will not be able to take this one. He does have a Sputnik and a double vent APOC tank, so hope is always alive. Wait, where's the Soviet MCV? Aha, over here. In the corner, just hanging out, not actually deployed or anything. Boop, boop, doop, boop, boo. Twin blades moving through the middle of the map. Going to see this massive triple naval yard I don't know that you actually have the economy for a triple naval yard, but who cares? MCV moving back to the main base. Power plant's going to get targeted down. I don't know that there are any base defenses. It's more the hydrofoils you have to worry about, so going low power mode has limited value when your opponent already has just a bunch of hydrofoils. I guess he could try and turn this into a base race. A bit like the space race. I don't know if that will work out well for the Soviets. Bonk. Hydrofoil gets nuked there. Natasha gets frozen. Chrono freeze for the aircraft carrier to get the kill. Oh. Bye-bye, Natasha. Twin Blades still finding some damage here and there. Aircraft carriers blazing through the rest of the map. The MCV does set up in the corner. And, well, I guess this Navy is eventually going to run around. Oh my gosh, the Twin Blades are actually going to find the MCV. They might be able to kill everything except for that little pocket of naval yards. Get some cash back as well, always nice. Extra $1,000. Are these hydrofoils? Because if they're hydrofoils, you can just run away. It's going to take them a while to get over to this pocket of water, and they're just going to leave. So this, okay, this might actually be doable. If this turns into a base race, the Soviet player can keep running, and the Allied player just needs to stick a bunch of hydrofoils right here, and the Allied player will be safe. But if the Allied player doesn't stick a bunch of hydrofoils right there, oh my gosh, this is so many aircraft carriers sending their drones after Natasha and that barracks. Yeah, the Soviet player doesn't actually realize how close to victory they are. Oh, if it's only 2 hydrofoils, you should be able to jump on that. You're going to lose maybe 3 of these Twin Blades. Well, 4 with how weak some of them are. Ooh, no, okay. With this many double vet Twin Blades, you definitely want to try and pick off some loose targets and, like, hit and run to try and get as much damage as you can to rank up those remaining Twin Blades, because obviously the more heroic Twin Blades you have, the better, and they'll also heal themselves. They're going to jump on the hydrofoils. We'll be able to get one of the hydrofoils. Nicely done there. Another Twin Blade goes heroic, does kill the final hydrofoil, and this might be it. The Soviet player is going to be able to win a base race because Twin Blades move faster than aircraft carriers. Not because he has the better army, not because he had the better strategy, but because he's got Twin Blades and this Allied player decided to send 2 hydrofoils back. Oh, the hydrofoils are actually here in time. It might be enough. It might be enough. A couple of peacekeepers there. If the Soviet player knew about that, he could potentially take them out. Ooh, all of the hydrofoils come back. Okay. Allied player might be able to take this one. Still cautious about who's actually going to be taking this game. Ooh, aircraft carriers. That's a good way to go heroic, is killing heroic aircraft carriers. But the hydrofoils are here, and they managed to snag one of the Twin Blades, down to 5 Twin Blades. Ooh, almost. Although the hydrofoils have abandoned their post, they're split up around the map so that it's hard to weave through them. Yeesh, that was dangerous for those aircraft carriers. So either player could potentially win here, and yet they both, I don't know, they were both in different places where they could have won or lost. If you're able to lead with the high health Twin Blades, then you can absorb the damage from the hydrofoils. Only 4 Twin Blades left. 2 of them are heroic. 1 of them is double vet. 1 goes heroic there as he gets the kill on the Harvester as well. This 4th Twin Blade, which is only double vet in the face of his heroic buddies. Bunch of Stingrays. Okay, you can't argue with that. $3,000 in the bank, no money in the bank for SAZUKI. Aircraft carriers just burning their way through all of these. Oh, no, no, don't use the heroic ones. Use the double vet one. Hydrofoils are back. They should be able to pick off. Nope. Twin Blades pull back. Nicely done there by our Soviet player. SupremeCommande. He is doing what he can to hold on as long as he can. Get another refinery up in this corner, even if it's depleted. It does pay for itself over time. And who knows, you might actually need it. Because if these hydrofoils... Oh, he's going to call in the magnetic satellite? I'm not actually sure. Satellite drop and magnetic singularity. He's trying to draw everything in, and he's going to go for the building while all of the hydrofoils are magnetic singularity'd. And then it's going to be up to the satellites to get the kill. How many does he get? 4! Plus the refinery, only 2 remaining, but there's only 3 twin blades. The 3 heroic twin blades that remain, and the hydrofoils have repairs. The allied player has no income now because he never got an oil derrick. He never captured an oil derrick, although if he did, it probably would have been taken out by this point. But he has no income. He's got these 2 hydrofoils, and he's trying to chase down all of these Soviet units and all of these Soviet buildings. Toxins get deployed. A couple of Stingrays would be able to clean up these hydrofoils as well. Hydrofoil spawns in, and the twin blades doing so much damage to that naval yard, but is it going to be enough? At this point, you might be able to just suicide it. Okay, 2 of the hydrofoils are down. Jump on the 3rd hydrofoil. Easy enough, and that's it. It's going to be game. The Soviet player will take it. SupremeCommande, against all odds, takes the game, and that is going to be game number 3 wrapped up. Oh, we finally did it. Oh, we finally did it. We made it through. My gosh, what was that last game? The last game was right around 30 minutes as well, maybe 39 minutes, and this was 37. Woo! All right, good game for these guys. I'm glad they had fun. I hope they had a good time playing Red Alert 3 with their friends. I hope all the best for them, all of those things, so. Okay. Baby Bird is going for a nap, so I just said good night to him. And then now both of the smoke detectors the batteries are both dead now. So this is the best time to stream. All out of coffee now as well. That was anticlimactic. Yeah, that's a fair way to describe basically that whole game. Thank you all very much for tuning in to this subscriber replay showcase. If you're just joining us, we are about halfway through the games that we have for the day. Those 1v1s were much longer than I anticipated. Normally, when I'm setting up a day like this, I like to have a couple of 1v1s mixed in because they tend to be shorter, but 2 40-minute 1v1s. That was rough. Those were, again, I'm glad those guys had fun. I hope they enjoyed those games. There was a lot of standing around and doing nothing, and that's it. But, oh well. From here on out, it is all 2v2v2s. We have 3 Carville games to get to, so we got a mix of players, a mix of, I don't know, I guess mix of levels, mix of plays. Some players I'm familiar with and some players I'm not, so, you know, we'll see. Could be some more rough games on the horizon. DachiMK. Wait. Are you in? Oh, yeah, you're in one of these games today. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you guys can't hear the chirping on the mic, but there's nothing I can do about it now. We're halfway through the day. We might as well press on, and I'll go get a battery later. So, of course, if you missed the stream or you can't stay for all of it, well, the VOD will be up on YouTube. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe the next day. We'll see. I got too many games in my email. Gotta get through some of them. There's also a ton of really cool games that have been sent recently from tournament results and I think a show match as well. Although I think that's over in Kane's Wrath. We got a 2v2 show match, which is a pretty sick lineup of players, so. So many good games this year. Some pretty sick Gen Evo games as well. It's been a good year for games. All right, boys and girls, are you ready for the 2v2v2 action? I hope you are, because welcome to Carville for our first 2v2v2 of the day. In the middle of the map, why not start with these guys? This is besiktaspantro. Empire Blue, his teammate as the Purple Soviets. This is QJ5S. They're our middle team. Meanwhile, in the north, playing as the Cyan Empire, this is YuNo21342. Their teammate as the Red Soviets. This is Gary 2020. I assume that he was born in the year 2020, and that is in fact a baby who is playing Command & Conquer. In the south, this is the Green Soviets, Panzar. And in the bottom left-hand corner, rounding out these sixth players, this is XonURhed. Here in this 2v2v2. Big thanks to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon, such as Jason B, MRL515, Sir Jack, Naganatana Cruiser, aka Pierce, Faisal A. Hawks, John M. A little bit of a different arrangement of buildings from our Empire player in the north. Also, big thanks to New Type Nate, Sparky Ampersand, Savaged Regime, Brian, Gabriel F, and BBB. Always appreciated, never obligated. Middle of the map is getting divided up as XonURhed crosses the bridge and takes one of the oil derricks. And the oil derrick is taken by besiktaspantro. I don't know. What am I supposed to do with that name? I have no idea how to pronounce that guy's name. Fast super reactor coming out from Gary 2020. It is left versus middle versus bottom, by the way, if you're wanting to keep the minimap directions straight for yourself so that you can try and keep an eye on who's on what team. Right versus middle versus bottom. Or I guess you guys do have the display as well, but, you know, you guys have got the overlay. Oil derricks getting grabbed up by UHD. Going to be able to grab a couple of oil derricks for himself. Going for the crush on anything that comes out of that dojo. You know, if you can. Ooh, Panzer going for a bit of a drop here. A terror drone, an engineer, and a bear all together. He's going to force the MCV to pack up and move, and that MCV is immediately going to get stasised by that terror drone. This is a perfect 1-2 punch. He can even go for the infect on that MCV if he really wants to, and he can either sell off or use the build radius from this super reactor to do even more. So Panzer going to be getting the early jump on. What is the bear going to do? Chew bears? The bears aren't going to do anything against the terror drone. And, well, I guess the barracks is coming up, so the bears will do something against whatever comes out of that barracks, but we'll have to see exactly what is coming in here. Panzer going to be coming up here with a couple of sickles as well. Terror drone lays off of the MCV for a moment, but now he's going to be going for the infect, and that's a bit unfortunate for Gary. He's going to have to run for the hills and see if he can come up with a better plan somewhere else. Meanwhile, XonURhed is moving up to the north, going to be dropping a couple of multi-gunner turrets here as well. And this is a fantastic opening for our team in the south, but it does mean that maybe the team in the middle will get sort of free reign to build up and take all of the expansions on the middle of the map. They'll be able to just do whatever they want while the team in the south is fighting the team in the east. And he wanted to wait for the harvester to get onto that refinery, but it was too much. It allowed the Tengus to transform to get the kill on 2 engineers. And Panzer, hoping that he can win out in the long run, ends up miscalculating and losing 1,000 credits worth of engineers. He is going to be building a Tesla coil anyways, and he decides he's going to cancel the rest of those engineers, at least for now. And this terror drone will eventually get taken out of this MCV, but this has been a major disruption to Gary 2020. Unfortunately for Gary, it looks like he will be severely behind in the polls. He will be very behind in every way that matters. And this engineer will eventually capture that refinery. Free refinery, just need to build a harvester. Saves you a little bit of cash. I guess it doesn't really save you any cash. It saves you like $100 because the engineer costs $500 and then it's 1,400 to get the Harvester. So if you don't get the Harvester when it is on the dock for the refinery, then you've actually spent 1,900 instead of 2,000. So it's not much cheaper, but it does take it away from your opponent, and obviously an engineer capture is faster than building one yourself. And, well, that is that. 2 fresh refineries. Panzer is looking really good, and actually, for whatever reason, I didn't realize this. I guess XonURhed lost a refinery or something, and XonURhed doesn't have any build radius down here because his MCV is up here. He's about to be taking these 2 northern expansions. Got one out on the water, lost this one on the water. Tesla coil on the high ground took that out. Panzer now going to be moving up to the north, but it's pretty much just conscripts. Q5J is here with the Stingrays, and Basket is here with the mass Tangoos, going to be transforming on top of that naval yard. And hey, this Tesla coil will eventually go down. It's going to take a minute for the Tesla coil to get eaten up by all of these Tangoos, but eventually it does go down. A couple of Terror drones do get the infect on these Tangoos. A bit unfortunate for Basket. It's something he's going to be able to deal with it without too much trouble. Clean up 2 of his own Tangoos when he's got this many isn't that big of a deal. And the Tangoos coming in from UHD. He's going to be able to get a couple of kills, potentially on his opponent's Tangoos. This is definitely not what you want as the team in the middle. You definitely want to fight the guys who are stronger to stop them from taking away your territory, but you definitely don't want to get caught up in a war of attrition with the team that's about to be eliminated. You want that war of attrition to go between the guys on the outside, if possible. And I don't know, UHD, he's in a tough spot. Gary did manage to sneak out his MCV after it got terror droned. He got it healed up a little bit, and he's got 1 refinery out on the field. But this is still just a rough situation for UHD and Gary. I can't imagine that they are going to be long for this world. Tangoos are sweeping back into the base of UHD. Big, massive transform, and he's going to target down the Mecha Bay. Could be an easy kill on that War Factory. Oh, just as he gets the Tier 2 as well. That's more cash down the drain. He is forced to sell it off, but that is a bit of pain to deal with. MCV is in the top left-hand corner of the map for UHD. So if Basket wants to chase down that MCV, he's going to have to go somewhere else to find it. Gary going to be calling down satellites on top of this refinery. It's going to be up to the Bullfrogs and the Hammer Tanks from QJ to clean out these Tangoos, and they will indeed get them. The middle of the map has been made safe again. XonURhed has basically just had a free pass to expand all the way up to the north side of the map. Up to 4 refineries, 2 oil derricks as well. So XonURhed has just had like the easiest time in this whole game. Panzer has had, did an amazing job of clearing out Gary from his base. So Panzer is now sitting on, it looks like, 6 refineries. I don't know, maybe just like go 400 Kirovs and just go for the middle of the map. Looks like it's going to be V4s. Oh, and actually this airfield gets targeted down. It will get burned down before that Dreadnought can be eliminated. The airfield does go down, but the refinery will be the trade as Panzer finds the damage against QJ. It's going to be a trade. Dreadnought will get the kill on at least one of these V4s. The satellites will get the rest of them, and the Terror Drone locking them in place to make sure that they can't escape. Gary and UHD trying to rebuild along the northern edge of the map. It looks like they're getting pressured both from XonURhed and also maybe from the guys in the middle, as it is going to be close quarters for our team, which is now entirely in the north. Panzer needs to get his MCV out, although for a moment that building did absorb some of the rockets there. The afterburners were ignited as this MCV is now going to try and just run for the hills. Terror Drone making that a bit of a difficult prospect. And the V4's going to be trading rockets with these Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts trying to dodge the rockets of the V4s as they find a bit of damage for themselves. Beskett from the middle of the map is winning the Tengu Wars, it looks like, which is not too big of a surprise because UHD and Gary have been thrown for a loop from the beginning of the game, so it's not a big surprise that they're finding it difficult to match the numbers that their opponents have. And it looks like for right now, Beskett is basically fighting in the north, and QJ is fighting in the south, which is pretty good for the team in the middle. They're not really getting overwhelmed, but it's a sneaky engineer once again. It's not enough to grab the ore refinery, but he does grab the super reactor. He does get the build radius, and if that is his Tesla coil finishing up, and it is, he's going to get the drop on his opponent. He will not get the kill on this combat engineer, though, so that's a bit unfortunate. There goes the build radius. Should have sold that off while he had the chance. And, I mean, he's going to lose the build radius either way, so you can sell off both of those, maybe even cancel the Tesla coil and just chalk it up to a loss. Akula Sub's going to be attacking the expansion of XonURhed. One refinery getting eliminated, but the naval yard has not been shut down just yet. Meanwhile, Tengus from Beskett find a bit of damage against the forces of UHD. Satellites crash into nothing, and it looks like even this oil derrick was taken over by Panzer. Flak troopers just sacrificing themselves one at a time, but if they're getting one shot at a time on that Tesla coil, eventually it will go down. It's just going to take a really long time to be eliminated. Flak troopers are just slowly but surely working away at this Tesla coil. 2 flak troopers now going to be able to mine it to death, and that will be the end of this attack. Too bad for Panzer. He tried, and wasn't able to make it work. But UHD now has Shoguns out on the field. Good for UHD. They've been in a tough spot, so anything that they can do is like double value. Like, they're the guys who have been on the back foot. They're fighting from behind. So if they manage to get up 1 Shogun, it's as impressive as someone else getting up 2 Shoguns, because the pressure just is not the same. Meanwhile, XonURhed, who has taken very little damage over the course of this whole game, had very few attacks to fend off. You know, he's had some difficulty to deal with, some trouble to push back, but he's had a much easier time than pretty much anyone else in this game. And so, you know, when he builds something, it's like, you know, you've kind of had a relatively easy job compared to everyone else. But, you know, he's still maybe going to be winning the battle in the north. We'll see exactly what happens. Mass Tengu as they burn each other down. And Beskett might actually just want to get on out of here. Just kind of let XonURhed clear out this section of the map. And then maybe go hit XonURhed a little bit later. Meanwhile, these Shogun battleships, they are finding a bit of damage, but they are unprotected. And, well, Yari mini-subs are nice. Not going to do anything against Chopper VXs. I guess, fortunately, it's just 1 Chopper VX, so it is taking a very long time to kill that Shogun. Sea Wings, not enough firepower to kill off that Chopper VX, so we will be able to escape, at least for now. Twin Blade's going to be showing up. It is a mass capture as a triple barracks gets established, and that engineer is running for the hills, but eventually will go down to that conscript, and it is going to be a difficult thing to dislodge this Tesla building, flak cannon carrying Soviet player Panzer, who just keeps building barracks and establishing fresh annoyances to cause more and more problems for QJ in the middle of the map. Beskett going to be heading to the top right-hand corner of the map, and Panzer slowly but surely trying to take over the middle of the map, 1 building at a time. He may be losing these barracks, but he is not losing his fighting spirit as the Twin Blades step forward just an inch too far. And oh, that is the perfect spot for that barracks. And if he gets that build radius, he might be able to have a bit of build radius to build a reactor somewhere else. Forces the sell-off of that super reactor, and now he's going to be forcing the sell-off of the tier 3 as well. The conscripts get taken out, and I guess you might as well sell off the refinery as well. Try and get the kill on that engineer. Wow, a total strike completed here by Panzer, who is just blasting his way peacefully. Well, not really peacefully, but by capture. He's blasting his way with engineers through his opponent's base. Shogun battleship activates that ramming speed and crushes through a number of dolphins, clearing out XonURhed's forces. And as the Apollos show up, the Sea Wings transform into Sea Wings, and clear up an Apollo or two. Panzer, I feel like he is the big winner of this game. The guy is taking over his opponent's buildings one by one, building Kirovs, showing us a good time. Panzer is not here to win the game. Panzer is here to have fun and to show us a good time. The guy is taking over buildings, building Kirovs, and then just expanding into his opponent's space, taking over refinery after refinery, and he's kind of fighting on all fronts. He started this game by attacking Gary 2020, and then he goes after QJ5. Actually, maybe he's a Soviet killer. I just realized there's one Soviet player on each team, 2 Empire players, and 1 Allied player overall. Oh, Precision Bomber barely misses that Wave Force Artillery. And the Soviet player has so far only killed other Soviet players. He's a little bit of like, I can be the only one. Bunch of flak troopers, flak cannon as well. Wait, is Panzer God of War? Is this another one of God of War's Smurfs? I don't know if it is, but based on how well he's playing and what he's doing, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't turn out to be God of War. If it's not God of War, it's just someone who's playing a very entertaining game. And man, those fully heroic V4 rockets just do such massive damage. Look at that, killing 2 Akula subs in 2 hits. The splash damage is great. The direct damage is great. Top left-hand corner of the map is exploding with action as Shogun battleships and Tengus find their damage. And it does look like XonURhed has been pushed back. His ground army has been either destroyed or completely shoved back. And it looks like UHD is, even though he's getting absolutely attacked and hammered, is still finding some kind of strength to be able to fight back in these trying times. Harvester does get killed, but the refinery goes over to Panzer, and he rebuilds his own refinery. Satellite's getting called down, and that's going to be another kill on a refinery. And finally, Panzer decides to attack someone who isn't Soviets, but XonURhed and Panzer as a team seem unstoppable, partially because anything that you have just gets engineer capped by Panzer. You got a refinery, it's going to be Panzer's refinery in about 1 minute. He's going to build a harvester from it. He's going to use that money to kill you in about 5 minutes. Natasha might get targeted down here as she does get eliminated by these Tengus. The build reading radius is being preserved in Tesla coils. They do fire slowly, so a lot of Tengus can clean up Tesla coils without too much trouble. Purely because Tesla coils will, I think they one-shot Tengus, but they do fire pretty slowly. So if you got a bunch of Tengus, you're going to be fine. You're going to be able to take down the Tesla coil. Twin Blade's not fast enough to save the MCV as the IFVs get the kill there and kill the MiG on the exit. The War Factory is still here, and there is a Wave Force Artillery trying to clean up Panzer's units or Panzer's buildings, which used to be UHD's buildings, and I guess that's just what happens when you're playing up against a guy like Panzer. Satellite's now going to be getting called down, and, well, the reactors and the walls are giving a bit of vision to QJ5, who's going to be able to call in satellites in the middle of the map. Magnetic Mine's going to be taking down these wall segments, and sacrifices his own reactor. A bunch of damage off of the other reactor as well. But it's going to be up to the Twin Blades to jump in here. And Panzer, he is going to town against everybody, but he may not have enough strength to hold off against everybody. Panzer may be fighting too many people at once as the MiGs do go in for the attack, and the MiGs do get pushed back. MCV of XonURhed gets eliminated as UHD is fighting on 2 fronts at once. He is pushing Panzer back in the top right-hand corner of the map, and he kills the MCV of XonURhed, kills the War Factory of XonURhed in the top left-hand corner of the map, gets a refinery as well. This Shogun battleship, built several minutes ago, has just done immense amounts of damage in this game. Putting a lot of pain on this Allied player. Javelin troopers trying to laser lock it down, but the Shogun just pulls out of range and escapes the terror of those Javelin soldiers. Tengu's transforming in the middle of the map. Beskit is going to be joining QJ5 to kick Panzer out of the top of the map. They're out of the island in the middle of the map, rather, as they are finally going to be dislodging Panzer, and look at this Tesla coil won't actually be able to get any shots off as it gets cleaned up at the last moment there. The Kurov's coming in, but with not much anti-air support, the MiGs get absolutely shredded. They trade out with a couple of Tengus, but 4 Kurovs survive so far. They don't actually kill that refinery. That's a bit unfortunate, but if they get the MCV, then that will be good riddance to this MCV. He's going to try and run for the hills, and MCV can outrun the Kurovs, so the Kurovs will just get slowly torn apart by these Tengus, and the MCV needs to keep running. Yeah, don't let those Kurovs keep up with you. Or refinery will eventually get taken down, I think, by that last Kurov, and these other Kurovs are just going to try and distract those Tengus, and goodbye refinery. Meanwhile, the Shogun battleship taking a bit of damage. These Javelin soldiers doing everything that they can to kill that Shogun, but it's just not going to happen. Kurov eventually goes down. Tengus, the cure to a Kurov. Shogun battleship slowly working away at every single one of those Javelin soldiers, taking them down one at a time. MCVs getting targeted, being forced on the run, just having to get on out of there. As Gary 2020, who has got knocked down in this game several times and somehow is always able to bounce back, keeps his MCV alive, runs away from Panzer Zakula subs who are sharking around and looking for him, trying to kill him. Meanwhile, UHD has completely cleared the top right-hand corner of the map, is starting to retake it as well. 6 grand left in that refinery. XonURhed felt like he had the best setup out of everyone in this game. Is he about to repair this bridge and run across the map? He is indeed going to repair this bridge and try and just sprint to the other side to go on an all-out assault, crossing into the island in the middle and hoping for the best. QJ5 goes for a vacuum imploder. He's still got 5.5 minutes on the clock until he can actually fire his first shot. But, you know, that might be enough. Twin Blade's going to be showing up here. They clean up a couple of dogs, and it's going to be a barracks on the high ground. The Apollos are going to be able to chase away the Twin Blades, but the combination of strikers and bullfrogs, and the bridge goes down! XonURhed loses everything as he tries to rush across the bridge, and it just doesn't work out. Another Twin Blade taken down, another engineer falling to his death, as it looks like Panzer is just getting handily defeated in the sky. One Twin Blade left alive to tell the tale. Another Kurov is going to get targeted down, but this way it's pointing in the opposite direction. No! Did the MiGs all run out of missiles at the exact same time? They may not have actually been full on rockets as they try and take down that Kurov. And now the shoe is on the other foot as QJ5 is coming for XonURhed and 4 Panzer are going to be tearing apart this water expansion. Refineries and naval yards will be brought low as the MiGs finally clear up those Kurovs. And it looks like the build radius has been preserved. Ooh, Dreadnoughts are here as well. Panzer fighting too many battles at once, it seems. That Wave Force artillery has seen just about every corner of the map. I guess in the north, he's really only seen the northern edge of the map, but he is making his way down, and he is killing everything in his path. But it looks like this V4 may eventually get the catch. No, just moments before all of those V4 rockets impact, the Terror Drone goes down, and it looks like that Wave Force is going to be able to escape, at least for now. Gonna try and... Oh, he gets the kill on the APOC tank. Nicely done. As another vacuum imploder gets added into the mix, Panzer goes for the Iron Curtain as well. Oh, wait, did Natasha get a snipe? Did something happen to that Wave Force? I thought maybe someone sniped that Wave Force. Maybe not. But at any rate, Wave Force is back online. Toxins getting dropped on Besket's barracks, and the bridge has not been rebuilt after it was rebuilt the first time. Shogun battleships. Okay, you really do have to hand it to UHD and Gary, who with like between an average of 2 refineries each for this whole game, have absolutely fought way harder and way stronger than anyone thought that they would be able to. And look at this, UHD, he is dodging V4 shots, dodging Dreadnought or Terror Drones. He is getting the shots off with this Wave Force artillery, and he is just poking and prodding at the Soviet army, doing just so much damage. Ooh, get it, get it, get it. Can he get it? He's going to be able to blast both of those Terror Drones. He's going to try and get a shot against this. APOC? Yeah, gets the APOC tank. Now, the only thing he can't defeat is, of course, anything in the sky. A couple of Twin Blades going to be able to get the kill. No! At the last moment, outswing the Tengus. And what a move there from UHD. Just able to save his own Wave Force artillery. Shoguns clearing out the bears. I don't know, at this stage, it feels like it is still anyone's game. 2 minutes on the clock for QJ's Vacuum Imploder, but with 2 Dreadnoughts pounding away at it. 3 Dreadnoughts even. I don't know if it's going to survive. Engineer for the heal is a nice touch for sure. Is this final squadron called in on these Dreadnoughts? Well, Twin Blades are called in, so even if it's not the final squadron, it is the Twin Blade squadron, and they will clean up 1, maybe 2 of these Dreadnoughts. Only 1 Bullfrog, but a handful of MiGs do show up. Bullfrogs from the other side, and the MiGs won't be enough. Well, okay, this is more Bullfrogs showing up here, so it might actually be enough. Wave Force is still alive. Wave Force on the high ground, this time from Beskett as he pushes XonURHed's MCV a little bit further away. Iron Curtain is ready to go. Could Iron Curtain the Dreadnought? No, not fast enough as he goes a moment too late. He only gets the Bullfrogs. Oh, man. And the plan there is get the Iron Curtain on the Dreadnought and switch it over into the fast firing mode, because normally the fast firing mode sends you, or damages the Dreadnought. And you got to see the double damage of the Wave Force artillery. It will damage stuff in between itself and its final target. Tank Busters on the high ground. XonURhed is kind of getting beaten around. He's losing his MCV position in the south. Did have to retreat onto the ground. He's losing some hydrofoils in the north. And his entire ground army in the north really didn't get much accomplished, 5, 6, 7 minutes ago, however long ago that was. Tengu's moving up. Yeah, it does feel like anyone's game at this point. A while ago, I would have said XonURhed and Panzer are like the clear favorites. And while they're still definitely the players to keep an eye on, it kind of feels like anyone could potentially pull it out. And it wouldn't be that crazy of a victory. Like, there's a huge amount of Tengus from Beskett. There's a huge amount of Tengus from UHD. Plus, he's been having this really good Wave Force artillery control, really smart usage of that Wave Force artillery. Gary 2020 got slapped down in minute 1 of the game and has somehow come back to, actually have a bit of a significant army. Vacuum Imploder is ready to go from the guys in the middle of the map, and they've been able to survive. Kirov is making a run for it. He's not going to try and go for the Vacuum Imploder. He's instead going to be going for the power plants. If he can get the power plant, that wouldn't be bad. We'll try and keep an eye on the Vacuum Imploder. If you get vision of one of these big clouds of Tengus, that would be a really good spot to use it. Wipe out, 10 grand worth of Tengus quickly. But I don't think he has vision of these places on the map. Ooh, double APOC tank would also be a good place to use it. You would have to pre-fire a little bit. Sonic Decimator just finishes up. Okay, it's over here, so it doesn't give vision of any of the army. Shogun battleships starting to work their way through XonURHed's stuff. Ooh, taking down a couple of Shogun battleships. Also a potentially worthy target. Akula subs. This is so many Akulas. I think these are all from Panzer. Yes, indeed they are. All right. I think he's about to have vision. 30 seconds on the clock for Panzer's Vacuum Imploder. QJ5, he's got vision of the Tengus. If they go for the transform, that might be the spot. They might try and dodge it, move out of the way. Vacuum Imploder is going to be firing off, possibly down here in the south. Yeah, it's going to find its mark on a bunch of Twin Blades. You can't really blame him. Panzer has been one of the absolutely most annoying players in this match, so you definitely cannot blame him. Cryoshot fires off on the right side of the map, takes down some of these Soviet units, and the MCV gets called down. I don't know where that Okay, there it is. Vacuum imploder finds its mark on the production facilities, it looks like. But it's not going to be the end of the line. Wow, for the first time in this game, Gary is striking back against Panzer. Gary is looking to move into his ancestral home, this section of the map that he lost oh so long ago. Panzer is like, all right, let's see if we can deal with this. V4 is going to be getting infected. APOC tank's also going to be getting infected. The Bullfrogs, if they get taken out, it'll be an easy cleanup for the Twin Blades. Satellites getting called down possibly on both sides, but at least on the War Factory right now. Bullfrogs continuing to chase away these units, and the V4s are going to get caught by that satellite drop, the War Factory as well. So good night. Mass Tengu transforms on top of the Akula subs in the north, and that is going to be the end of the line for those Akulas. Final Squadron called in on his own Tengus. A bit unfortunate for UHD. Final Squadron also getting called in, I think, on the buildings of Panzer. Beskit is bringing the pain from that Final Squadron. All right, gets a multi-gunner turret. Not much more than that. UHD has quite an impressive Empire army. Huh. Couple of floating missiles or rockets there from the Twin Blades. They just kind of expire on the ground. Is that Chrono Rift? I don't remember which one. Isolates them for a moment. XonURhed. Going to be losing out big time on the left side of the map. XonURhed might kind of be dead. Cryogeddon is going to be firing off. Nope, Cryo Shot does catch 5 or 6 Tengus. It's going to be satellites called in by Panzer that get the actual kill. The Precision Bomber, that's a bit of lack of coordination from the two teams. 2 support powers getting called in, but nice use of the magnetic satellite in the middle of the army. Of course, in this case, UHD does just sort of escape, and that is a Tier 3 satellite as well, so it blasts through, and it just sort of hits nothing, unfortunately, there. Wife Bert bringing a coffee refreshment. Thank you very much, Wife Bert. If you see her in the chat, she actually did, as a joke, make a Twitch account called Wife Bert. Ooh, Imperial Docks Tier 3 for UHD does barely survive the attack. Barely, UHD does not have to rebuild that Tier 3 Empire Naval Yard. These two... Oh my gosh. And an Iron Curtain gets activated as well right as the Twin Blades show up. Oh, if only the multi-gunner turret would have gotten caught there as well. This is another case of, like, the coordination between Panzer and XonURhed. I don't think these guys are in voice chat. I think this is just like a randoms match, and they happened to get teamed up together. Another engineer. It's a double engineer cap, but it doesn't matter because the Tengus are too fast. Panzer, your tricks worked earlier, but they do not work now. That is pretty cool. They're just shooting the ground. Just 2 random Tengus are just shooting the ground for no reason in particular. Tanya is going to get the kill on that APOC tank. XonURhed might actually find a bit of value this late in the game. Tanya goes heroic, and she's ready to clean up these tank busters. Those tank busters are absolutely running for their lives. And, well, Shogun battleships are going to get silenced by these hydrofoils, but there's more than enough Shogun battleships, so the hydrofoils don't stand much of a chance. XonURhed's army grows even thinner as he is finding it difficult to deal with everything. I think Tanya just got dropped by about 1,000 Tengus surrounding her and gunning her down. Just a bit of a massacre there for Tanya. Technically, all 6 players still in this game. Somehow, someway, UHD feels like the strongest guy in the game. He's got kind of the most impressive army in a lot of ways. Does get a Shogun caught. That's a Tier 1 magnetic satellite, so it doesn't grab big high-tech units like the Shogun. Tengu's now going to be making their way to the south. Gary going to be taking another expansion. And XonURhed has had these expansions for a while, but now they're up for grabs. UHD might be able to grab them. Final squadron getting called in. It's going to fly over the base of Beskit. What is actually called in on? Oh, on top of the super reactor. Didn't even need it, though, because the Shogun battleships are going to delete everything. By the way, 20 seconds on the clock for Panzer's vacuum imploder, but the psionic decimator is ready to go. It's going to be Tengus versus MiGs, and it is just not enough. Could go for the psionic decimator on top of the Conyard. Could wait for the Tengus to transform. Could go for the psionic decimator on your opponent's super reactor. Maybe you can do it. Yeah, this might be a combination. Satellites plus psionic decimator to kill the vacuum imploder before it actually fires off. Vacuum imploder and Iron Curtain both grouped together. And no psionic decimator. Oh, it actually gets deleted. Oh, it gets captured. It gets engineer capped. What a catch there by Panzer. His tricks may be known, but his tricks are not stopped every time. Unfortunately for UHD, he's suddenly got more problems to deal with than he anticipated. Shogun battleships continuing to break their way through the southern part of their map. They have gone almost a full loop around this island. They were attacking stuff over here. They've made their way all the way up north and then west and then south and then east to almost complete their circle. Hydrofoils getting targeted down. Dreadnoughts getting targeted down, and it looks like it's going to be APOC tanks from Panzer rushing up to the north. He has got 3 super weapons under his control, a vacuum imploder, a psionic decimator, and an Iron Curtain, all going to be ready to go. Where are the MiGs? Where is the air support now? As they're just kind of doing a drive-by on all of these buildings. These APOC tanks will eventually get taken down, though, and actually going to be forcing the sell-off of the Tier 3. I guess you might as well, just to stop it from being taken out. You might as well get a bit of cash for it. MCV is going to have to run for the hills if it wants to avoid the satellites, and there's going to be the Iron Curtain firing off, and these APOC tanks are going to be able to secure the kill on this Conyard one way or the other. Engineer goes down as well. Might as well go for the super reactor. No, he's going to go for the Tier 3 docks. I can see that. Actually, that does make a bit of damage, make a bit of sense. Going to try and go for both at the same time. And this is a mass of Tengus. Iron Curtain wears off there. Actually, not quite at the same moment. Wears off in 2 different stages. And it looks like the Imperial docks will survive. The super reactor does not, as that APOC tank goes heroic. And it looks like QJ5S has been defeated. So suddenly, there were only 5 players. 100 minutes into the game, it feels like our first player has been defeated. And surely, this is a sign of the end. XonURhed's MCV has actually survived a lot. XonURhed hasn't been doing very much last, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes of the game. But his MCV has managed to stay alive, I think, this entire time. Sonic Decimator does eventually go down. And it looks like Panzer is Panzer going to be able to hold off? There's still a ton of Empire units. And Beskit has just been happy to hang out in the middle of the map, hoping that no one attacks him. Which is sort of how the beginning of this game started. It was definitely like a, you know, team in the south versus team in the north. And then the guys in the middle were just hoping that no one is paying attention to them. Ooh, Tanya now going to be going on a rampage. This is a new Tanya. This Tanya hasn't been killed by Tengus, at least not just yet. Shogun battleships forcing the sell-off of that super reactor, but there's another super reactor just to the east. And, well, for now, the Shogun battleships are just going to be tearing those buildings apart. And it looks like the Tengus are going to have to get called back to deal with Tanya. Did Tanya die? No, she activated the time. I don't know where she went. She went into the building or she activated the time belt or something, but she's going to be able to kill off the Imperial Warrior and eventually be able to kill off those tank busters, but not if the Tengus have anything to say about it. Double vet Tengus, and this one IFV, there are literally so many targets to choose from, so many targets to shoot at, and it's just way too many Tengus, but at the same time, he's not actually attacking anything. No transform just yet to kill off Tanya, and she, for now, is going to escape. Ooh, that's a bit of trouble there for UHD. No Chronosphere, so no need to worry about the Chronosphere at this point. You know, Chronosphere and a Tanya inside of an IFV to the other side of the map or something where your MCV is. That is something that can indeed cause a lot of problems. Shogun battleships getting taken over by those terror drones. They eventually will kill the Shoguns, but Shoguns are going to get a last couple of shots off before they can. Magmageddon is going to be freezing the Shogun. What happens when a Shogun gets frozen and has a terror drone inside? Okay, the conscript actually got the kill, so we still don't know. It looked like the terror drone just keeps doing damage. And, well, the ChronoRhed... I need to remember what that is. Chrono Shift, Chrono Rift, something like that. Going to be taking the Shogun battleship out of the equation for a moment. APOC tank goes heroic, just carving its way through Panzer's units. Everything that Panzer's got has been defeated, basically, by that. And another refinery gets taken over by Panzer. This guy just will not stop with the engineer drops. Iron Curtain deletes 5 tank busters, saves the war factory, at least for now. Shogun battleship almost dead. But the Shogun battleship goes for the airfield and not the war factory. So as long as there's an engineer, as long as there's a barracks, there's an opportunity for Panzer to come back in this game. And actually, his MCV is all the way over here. He could send that engineer inside of the MCV, get the heal up that he's looking for. And the Shogun battleship will not make it home. That's the Twin Blade with the engineer inside of it. That's the fully heroic APOC tank. And this is the unbelievable amount of Tengus, courtesy of UHD. I don't even know where this game is going to be going. Oh, there's Tanya in the south. She's going to get the kill on the heroic APOC tank. She goes golden herself. Got that little star next to her name. And, well, next to her health bar anyways. And that will be a good thing for her. She, I guess, XonURhed hasn't done very much for the last couple of minutes. But he does have this Tanya killing a whole bunch of stuff. He's potentially about to lose this entire section of the map. He doesn't have a whole lot of stuff on the ground, and it's going to be Emperor's Rage, which gets activated as well. And Soviet is going to be calling down satellites on top of these Tengus. They're going to smash X to try and avoid those satellites and break into a couple of attack groups. But this might be it for XonURhed. He might be kind of done after this, as Tanya is looking to head up north, and these Tengus will not be stopped in the south. XonURhed is, I think, about to die because he's going to lose his last building. So Tanya is going to meet an unceremonious demise and kill the barracks. Kill the barracks, and you kill one of the players. You eject one of the players from this game. There we go. XonURhed has been defeated. Tanya gets exploded in the north. He does not hand that over to Panzer. And now it is War Factory. A Tier 3 Empire War Factory gets grabbed by Panzer. And now there are 4. Panzer against Beskid against UHD and Gary. And UHD and Gary definitely have the biggest army, but Panzer is the biggest pain? I don't know. Panzer, he did at one point have the biggest army, but he's definitely been the biggest pain in the ass for most of this game. And he has been very fair and well treating to everyone basically anywhere on this map. Tier 3 Naval Yard does finally go down. Beskid striking out onto the map for the first time in about 15 minutes. And going to find some massive, massive damage. Going to get an MCV. Going to get a Tier 3 Naval Yard as well. But yeah, Panzer has basically attacked everyone on this map in various ways, mostly just by taking away their buildings and their units, turning them against each other. And it's just, Panzer is, he's annoyed everyone in various ways. MCV does escape for now. Oh my gosh, this King Oni just blasting his way through this map. Mass fight with the Tengus. I think it's going to be a UHD victory just because he's got the numbers. 1 striker on the ground, but it's too many Tengus, perhaps. Oh, this is actually a lot of strikers suddenly coming in here for UHD. I thought those were reinforcements for Beskid. I thought maybe 4 strikers would be enough to change the tide, but no, they were actually on UHD's side. So UHD is going to get the full cleanup here. Beskid is out of it. going to be dropping some satellites. Gary 2020 is going to be dropping some satellites, helping to clean up all of these buildings. And, well, besiktaspantro has... Is that refinery it? I think that refinery might be it. No, one more. Nope, that's, yeah, that's it. One refinery. So besiktaspantro is hoping for the best, but that is not much left. And our first team is out of it. MiGs do get jumped on. Tengus, well, they can't. This many Tengus, they might be able to kill that Tesla coil in time. Although Magnetic Satellite is going to try and grab them. They do dodge out of the way. Nicely done there. Magnetic Satellite is quite difficult to really grab things with if your opponents are paying attention. Super Reactor gets deleted. MCV gets sold off. UHD and Gary, mostly UHD, though, going to be able to find the victory so late in the game. Gary has got this Tier 3 Mecha Bay in the north, and that's about the only thing keeping him in this game. Panzer, excuse me, has that Tier 3 Mecha Bay in the north, and that's about the only thing keeping him in this game. UHD, what a game, what a comeback from him. He's got this refinery. Oh my gosh, does he have another engineer inside of this? Is Gary about to be knocked out of this game by an engineer? No, he sells off. He has something. Oh, that must be his MCV moving around the map. That's what that is. The engineer does not get saved. The Twin Blade will get the kill on the conscript. Oh my gosh, what an insane 2v2v2 this has been. A crazy match pretty much from start to finish. Panzer has been endlessly entertaining in this game. Everyone else did a pretty good job as well. Like, I'll be honest, this was pretty well done by everyone, pretty well played by everyone. Strikers just absolutely going crazy. When you've got 4 fully heroic strikers like this, they burn through any vehicle or building extremely quickly. Barely not enough rockets. All right, turns 1 striker around. You know, a lot of units, any unit with rocket-type weapons will overcompensate at times. And there we go. The end of the game, Panzer has been defeated. UHD and Gary both survived the entire time. That was a full 40-something minute game that one team survived the entire time in. And there we go, 47 minutes, 20 seconds. Great match from all 6 of these players. And actually, the ones who died early actually all stayed around to watch as well. So, a great match by everyone involved. And, wow. This is, we had 2 40-minute 1v1s. And now we have a 40-something minute 2v2v2. And the shortest game amongst these was definitely that 3v3. Which is not always what you expect. But we got 2 more 2v2v2s out of range. Oh yeah, that was the last one. How can Shogun projectile almost going straight but still able to reach targets on high ground? Like, oh yeah, well, because they coded the game in 2008 and they were able to work around some of the geometry of the map, but instead of doing the thing that StarCraft 2 does where the shots bend around the cliff, which also looked kind of janky, they went with, I assume, the faster option, which some shots just go through terrain. You want to talk physics in a game with weaponized bears. To be fair, I think real life has weaponized bears. Bears are just weaponized by default. I think their default appearance is weaponized. Well, from my understanding, Gumball273 says the Shogun is the superior battleship compared to its counterparts. From my understanding, Allies were supposed to have the strongest air, Soviets were supposed to have the strongest ground, and Empire was supposed to have the strongest navy. That was kind of the division of the 3. And obviously, most maps, the ground is more valuable than the water. So, Empire Navy, although some people do consider it to be the strongest, is not necessarily the most useful or the most utilized of the 3. But that'll do it for that game. I'm feeling pretty good. I think we're going to keep busting on through. This is going to be a long video. The render is going to take most of the night, but that's okay. I'm not going to do much editing to it. I'll just leave it up as a really long VOD. I'll cut out a little bit here and there, but for the most part, I will leave it. Once again, thank you all very much for tuning in to this subscriber replay showcase stream. Here we are back on Carville for another 2v2v2. Let's start off in the top right-hand corner in our traditional spot. The yellow Empire player in the top right-hand corner. This is Misha234. Their teammate as the orange Soviets. This is Mr-Popo. Classic name. Classic name indeed. Meanwhile, the red allies. This is ASDF. Who's this? Okay, and as the cyan allies, this is Gundam 12. So it's another right versus middle versus south kind of a breakup. Meanwhile, in the south side, the purple Soviets, this is HammerBlade. Representing the Soviets on the south side, because also on the south side, as the green, this is GreenFire. Playing Empire, and, well, staying true to the name. If you're going to name yourself a color, it's always nice when that color actually matches up. Obviously, it doesn't always, but it's nice when it does. GreenFire going for quite a few dojos as well, trying to take the middle of the map. Getting set up on the southern half of the map as well. Ooh, we almost had really good color coordination on this map. Yellow and orange go well together in terms of their similar colors. I guess it could have been like blue and purple or blue and cyan. But then the last one, the last team is a bit difficult. You can't really match the third set of colors, but yellow and orange, you know, those are guys on the same team. So I don't know. I'm just talking about colors. That's what we're doing. Rest in peace, Panzar won in our hearts. Yeah, in a way, Panzar was the most entertaining guy in that last game, even though he did not end up winning that match. Javelin Soldier going to be taking down a bunch of these buildings. It can be very annoying if your opponents take those buildings and utilize them against you. That is sometimes the last thing that you want to be dealing with on the island. By the way, big thanks to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon, like JPeak128, Cardo S, William H, Event Horizon, Jeffrey F, Jacob M, Fedon C, Merrick, and big thanks to all those folks. Always appreciated. As well as Heron H, Yannick, Jacob R, Michael H, Team Kill, Blazin' Ace, Boris. Big thanks to all of those guys as well. Tesla Coil going to be coming up here from Mr-Popo, trying to cause some problems for the other folks in this game. HammerBlade going to have to run away because he does not have the firepower to take down a Tesla Coil quickly. Especially not one that's inside of walls like that. Tengu's big transform going to be able to thin out the herd. Misha with the Tengu's able to take down a huge number of the infantry here. Terror Drone does get the infect on one of the Tengu's. Could leave that guy around to do some more killing and then escape with the other one. Second Tengu does get infected. Maybe a bit of problems causing here. Vindicators from ASDF are going to be striking out onto the north side of the map, and it's going to be an Apollo easy kill on this Tengu. Nicely done there by ASDF to catch a Tengu for free. Second Tengu as well. These Tengus aren't even fighting back, even though they have repairs given to them by that War Factory. Very nicely done there by ASDF, and a bit of an oof, bit of a mistake by Misha, who handled the Tengus pretty well down in the south, but not at all well in the north. Of course, we all make mistakes, we all have miscontrols, and sometimes the price you pay is bigger or smaller. ASDF clearing out the north side of the map, constant runs from these Vindicators. The Apollo always nearby in case the Tengus try to escape the punishment of that Vindicator. Gundam 12 and ASDF, they got slotted into the middle of the map onto the island, and that can sometimes be the danger zone where you just get attacked from multiple fronts. You get wiped out really early on. So I can definitely understand them wanting to bring the pain, bring the pressure early on, and take as much ground outside of the island as they can. If they can knock out one of the teams, they stand a much better chance than if they just stick around. And nice control. That is pulling the Vindicator a little bit further to the north to stop it from returning directly over that flak cannon and dying on the way home. So nicely done there by ASDF. Little extra bits of control, little extra clicks that take a bit more effort, but are, of course, very much worth it in the end. Dolphin splashing that power plant as well. That's a really nice just positioning choice by ASDF. You guys probably just saw that. But he repositioned his Dolphin to be able to splash down the power plant as well, and then takes and then leaves just in time to not get hit by that Tesla coil. Wow. Most players in a 2v2v2 do not take that much care with their units. And that's a force fire on the ground to splash down the refinery outside of range of that Tesla coil. Gundam hasn't been doing very much, but that's because this guy has been going straight to Tier 3, getting aircraft carriers immediately. And hey, there's a couple of Tengus here, but sometimes the Tengus don't even matter, because as long as the aircraft carrier drones, 4 out of 5, deliver their bombs, then that is what matters. Although, nope, none of those actually delivered their bombs, so that was maybe a bit of a... well, you can't really do anything about that. Second MCV, it looks like, just popped on out for ASDF, so he's going to be able to drop twice as many multi-gunner turrets as any other allied player. Gundam drops an additional multi-gunner turret here, and he's going to be able to get the kill on that Striker, even if he tries to fly away. Bye-bye, Striker. All right, this is, again, sometimes the team in the middle gets double-teamed and just gets dumpstered. But you have to give it to ASDF and Gundam. They're at least trying to make a fight out of it. They're not just getting slammed immediately. They're trying to come out ahead in these engagements. A Kula sub from HammerBlade and GreenFire going to be transforming on top of these aircraft carriers and killing them off as quickly as they can so they don't take overwhelming amounts of damage. Although Vindicators, no, actually it's another aircraft carrier just spawning in to try and clean up these Akula subs. One refinery does get cleaned up. The second refinery does not get eliminated. Engineer is going to be able to jump inside of that refinery and be able to heal it back up to full. No, what are these two engineers for? I'm not actually sure. HammerBlade going to be stepping onto the high ground with a bit of Twin Blade Bullfrog action. Does dodge the freeze. Vindicator's going to be coming in, clean up a couple of the Bullfrogs for the price of two Vindicators, but no, it's one Vindicator. Second Vindicator very low on health, and it's going to be up to these conscripts, apparently, to clear out the map. Mr-Popo, we can't all be heroes. We can't all be super high APM micro monsters like Demon. And some of us are just Mr-Popo trying to clear out one section of the map with like 4 conscripts and some Molotov cocktails. We all do what we can at our skill level. And, well, these strikers are going to get frozen and deleted immediately. ASDF's multi-gunner turrets get the kill. Nicely done there to clean up those strikers. Although, ASDF going to be losing a refinery at least, maybe even a little bit more, to those Twin Blades. Multi-gunner turrets on the north side of this refinery, but not on the south side, which is the side that matters at this point. I think the Apollos have already been taken out, and unfortunately for ASDF and Gundam, you really need to get a kill on one of these players early on, because otherwise this sort of is what ends up happening. You start a bunch of fights, and then you can't actually finish the fights. And now, well, everyone has sort of built up a decent enough army that they're potentially all in contention with each other. Might go ahead and sell off both of these multi-gunner turrets. One gets sold off, the second one doesn't, but the RNG is good enough on the satellites that that multi-gunner turret actually does survive. Natasha immediately targeting down at this multi-gunner turret. It gets spawned in and immediately despawns. All right, Tengu's flying back over. GreenFire, is he looking for some harassment? Maybe, maybe not. Might be able to bring down a couple of... Ooh, gets a couple of Javelin Soldiers. Trades out one Tengu for it, but, you know, 3 Javelin Soldiers and a Harvester, more than worth it for the 1 Tengu. Might even be able to get a power plant as well or something. Ooh, Natasha gets sniped. Natasha gets brought low and taken out by that multi-gunner turret. V4s clean up the multi-gunner turret, force the MCV on the run. This MCV needs to get out of dodge quickly. There is a striker that's going to chase it down. 2 strikers even. And they will get the confirmed kill. Bye-bye, MCV. No, barely. The Apollos don't save it. Everything dies. The Apollos sweep out the strikers, and it looks like all 5 Tengus get caught and killed. Nope, not killed. What is that? That's a sudden transport. I was like, that's a fast-moving harvester. But it is going to be the double engineers. Here we go as the engineers waving. Oh! Well, you get the cash back on one of them. That was the most expensive refinery capture. I've never actually seen that where both engineers go into a building. I assumed the second one would just stop automatically, but no. Maybe I have seen that? I don't think that's supposed to be what happens, but that is what happened in this case. Someone in chat says ASDF play is very reminiscent of C9. It is kind of, yeah. It is feeling a bit like that SimCity game that C9 played on... Oopsie! That played on Carville. I would say that C9's execution, I think, is a little bit better than this. But, you know, still, the attempt is there. GreenFire gets an allied MCV. Not often does an Empire player get to play with multi-gunner turrets as well. Natasha gets the snipe on a hydrofoil, it looks like. Tsunami Tank going to try and blast through that refinery. Misha and Mr-Popo, they got slammed down earlier on in this game, but that's what happened in the last match as well. The team in the, I guess the team on the right, got attacked quite swiftly, and the engineer is going to be going for a slightly better angle here. Forces the sell-off of that airfield, and that is good enough as far as I am concerned. MCV gets sold off, EMP comes in, and hey, you take away your opponent's MCV by capturing it with an engineer, and then you sell it off next to one of their buildings and force them to sell off their airfield. That is a good move in my book. Twin Blades coming in here. They're going to dislodge that lighthouse. And, well, get the kill on the conscript there. Aircraft carrier as well, or the Peacekeeper, whatever was in there. Aircraft carrier as well, just trying to find bits of damage. Gundam and ASDF, they had a lot of momentum at the start of the game, and it has been completely robbed from them. And that's where, like, if you're able to strike out early and do that damage, hey, that's the top of the, we got to see the top of the cryo shot beam. Not often do you get to see the top of the cryo shot. You normally just see the bottom of the cryo shot. Dodging ultra torpedoes. Come on now. As that Gundam aircraft carrier just dodges and weaves. Serpentine. Trying to avoid those torpedoes. May not be able to do it this time. EMP fires off. Okay. Oh, he gets the tsunami tank. Doesn't get the Shinobi, but gets the tsunami tank. Fresh multi-gunner turret here. Going to be able to get a couple of shots off here. Forces the Shinobi to throw the little dust cloud out. Akula subs get the kill on that aircraft carrier. As the aircraft carrier's in the south. Dreadnoughts? Dreadnoughts in the south. But burn through the buildings of Gundam. Misha with a group of 6 Striker VXs. It is always a case that Striker VXs are more dangerous than people tend to think. If you jump on an MCV, you can kill an MCV surprisingly quickly. Hey, there's the advanced rocket pod upgrade coming in right before our eyes. Satellites getting dropped on the Harvester as well. So no chance to set that up for a command hub and some fresh build radius as all of these buildings get cleaned up. ASDF, so close, and yet so far. Fresh MCV for ASDF. At some point, built another MCV, but real troubles in ASDF's hometown as he loses power. Does have enough does have enough IFVs to chase away those strikers, though. GreenFire and HammerBlade, they have taken over the southern half of the map, and now they're expanding up north. Ooh, Harvester off the line. Always unfortunate when you get snagged by that bug. This is your public service announcement to always check your harvesters. We all forget to do it. IFVs. Oh, no, they're actually going to force the transform. Well, that's not a super good thing either. I mean, you might get a kill on a couple of Tengus here, but the IFVs are going to just keep shooting away at your strikers. These strikers going for this refinery over here. Cryoblast going to be firing off. Tengus do dodge it. Nicely done. And the strikers will give their lives, but will they get it? No! They get the walls instead, and they leave the ore refinery up for the Tengus to get the kill. Iron Curtain has counted down to 0, but has not fired off, at least not yet for the HammerBlade, whose Twin Blades have done a bit of hit and run, bit of popping buildings, taking them down swiftly. Ooh, heroic tank busters inside of these buildings for Misha. Going to be taking down the Civ structure on the other side. Imperial Warriors should just be able to, rush down this building, and goodbye, tank busters. And then, well, one of the tank busters outside of the building, I think, got cut down by the. It looked like he got sliced. That was kind of crazy. I think the swords are still active. Oh, Iron Curtain on the Tengus here, but not on the Tengu. Wait, is it on the? Okay, it is. It is also, the Iron Curtain does also affect the point defense drones, and that MCV is getting slowed down by the Emperor's Rage. So ASDF is going to lose yet another MCV there. Nice use of the slowdown from the Emperor's Rage to allow them to catch and kill it. Big Transform will be able to get the Cryocopter, get the Apollos as well with the point defense drones, might as well. Gundam 12 has been defeated. ASDF has been defeated. So anyways, when you're in a building, the Bonsai Charge, the katana from the Bonsai Charge is still active inside of the building. And I think it has like a range of 0.1 or 0 or whatever it is. And so if you're standing close enough, I think what we just saw is that you can still use the sword to attack. I always thought it just sort of meant it would be a delay until you could actually attack units outside of the building, but ASDF and Gundam, they tried as best they could to start out with some early aggression and knock down one of the teams on the outside. They were unable to do that, and as a result, they basically just got double-teamed. I mean, really, if you start a fight with everyone on the map and you're not able to finish that fight, it's generally not going to work out for you. And that's why it generally doesn't work out very well for the double team in the middle. They tend to get double teamed, and we saw ASDF and Gundam attempt to solve that, but they were not able to. Is this FFA or teams? This is a 2v2v2, so it is 3 teams of 2. Although right now, it is 1 team of 1 and 1 team of 2. As Misha has been defeated, Mr-Popo is now the representative for the Empire Soviet faction in the top right-hand corner. He's got a bunch of APOC tanks in the bottom right-hand corner of the map that he's just been slowly working their way down. And that's unfortunate because this is like 10 grand down the drain with no recourse. There are a couple of Bullfrogs here, but it's sort of too little too late, and 3 Bullfrogs is no match for 40,000 Twin Blades. Although maybe these APOC tanks, if they turn their guns to one of these buildings, they might be able to get a kill. Nope. As the Twin Blades have fewer and fewer targets to charge or to attack, they do find it easier to kill all of those APOC tanks, and not a single building goes down. I guess that reactor went down, but the War Factory and the airfield both survive the attack, and it's down to GreenFire HammerBlade versus Mr-Popo. Nothing against Mr-Popo, but it's very rare that a 2v1 works out in favor of the singular player. So we'll take this opportunity to say big thanks to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon, such as TechDoc, Fluffy Ninja, Robo, Robot Tech, Interphase, Adams A, Breath of Fire, Shanrox, Liliar, Mark, as well as Umer Q, Schneffenoff, Squish, Colton B, PMR, Al J, Jaicheng H. Big thanks to all of those folks. A fresh MCV to be delivered to the donation bin this holiday season. Christmas is coming up. as well as all of the other holidays from November to January, whatever you celebrate. I hope you're able to give an MCV in the donation bin. Maybe a couple of Twin Blades for Hanukkah, a couple of Bullfrogs for Kwanzaa, and, you know, just whatever you celebrate, give an MCV, give a Twin Blade into that donation bin this holiday season. Feel yourself generous. Feel yourself getting into the generous spirit of things. And just give away a War Factory or Reactor. Ho-ho-ho! Or a ton of Tengus as this Empire Soviet army explodes onto the scene. Mr-Popo is not going down without a fight. I thought Mr-Popo was just out of it, like he was just kind of waiting for the inevitable, but no! He steps out onto the map. Yeah, he kind of gets smashed and destroyed, everything on the ground, but he does escape with a decent number of Twin Blades, a couple of Tengus, a couple of MiGs as well, and Mr-Popo is going to be able to do a bit of damage here. Reactor to try and preserve the build radius here as the Twin Blades target down that refinery. And it's going to be Twin Blades showing up to fight against the Twin Blades, I guess. That's a pretty funny idea. V4 in the north targeting down these refineries. One refinery down. Mr-Popo losing some of his build radius in the north, losing some of the stuff that's under his control. And Tengus do not need to return to base to be able to refuel, reload, and rearm. So these Tengus are just going to get smashed in record time. Before they can kill a vacuum imploder, every single Twin Blade crashes down onto the ground. Well, Mr-Popo says, I will not go down without a fight, but the fight is not particularly well executed, is not particularly effective, and Mr-Popo has been defeated. The GG gets called. GreenFire and HammerBlade take the game. A bit of a swifter 2v2v2 this time as the game wraps up in 21 minutes. We have one more 2v2v2 to get to, so let's jump into game number 6. We are almost through it. These have been some extremely entertaining games. I mean, they've also been some less entertaining games, but overall, pretty good batch of subscriber replays in this showcase. Thank you all very much for joining it. We've got one more 2v2v2 to get to. And hopefully it's a banger to leave us with the day. Killer B4712 says, just joining. Hopefully the games are more than okay. Well, the first one was quite good. The next two were not super great. I think they were just friends, like having a good time playing some 1v1s. And then game number 4 was quite an epic back and forth and all around. Game number 5 was pretty good. Definitely had some good plays, mostly good plays by ASDF. I mean, everybody, you know, even though ASDF ended up losing, everybody played pretty well that game. But like ASDF had a great start, like a great first 5 minutes or something, and then kind of fell apart after that. Got double teamed a bunch, but yeah, game number 5 was pretty good in the beginning, and then it kind of just turned into a one-sided slapdown. But overall, yeah, it's been a good batch of games. Minus those 2 1v1s, but, people want to have fun with Command & Conquer, and that's good for them. And we got one more. It's a 2v2v2, and, it's a mix of players. Most of these guys, I don't recognize their names. Some of them I do, and, but, sometimes the guys that I do recognize their names, they end up being not necessarily the most entertaining players, and then, the guys that I don't recognize their name, they end up being pretty good. So we'll see. Yeah, the game with Panzer was super entertaining. Thank you all for joining me here on the downfall of Twitch. Apparently, Twitch has just been burning itself to the ground as a company. And I figured, wait, what a better day to stream on Twitch than, like, the day after they announced that they were going to be reducing their... They were going to, like, increase the number of ads that partnered... This doesn't affect me. Increasing the number of ads that partnered streamers are required to play, and then also eliminating the high revenue split for them. But, oh well. That doesn't affect me. I'm just here for the good times. And speaking of good times, let's get into these good times here on Carville. Welcome to game number 6, our last 2v2v2 of the day. I hope you are ready. Although maybe it'll be super boring, and the only thing you'll have to be ready for is a nap to go to sleep. In the north, playing as the Green Allies, this is 0888. I said 08, I meant 0088. 0088. And as the Blue Allies down the right edge of the map, this is GGOT. Team right side versus the Red Allies in the middle, running for the water. This is PrinceSaleh, their teammate as the Orange Soviets. This is DachiMK. I don't know. I'm bad with names. DachiMK. Meanwhile, the Purple Soviets in the middle. This is Becker789. And rounding it out, our Cyan allied player. This is FinallyMZ. Finally and Becker going to be teaming up against Prince and Dachi against GGOT and 0088. 08. I think that's close enough. 08. You guys don't mind if I call him 08, do you? That's easier to say than 0088. You always got to come up with little shorthands for yourself to go over some of these games, because people choose these names, and it's like, I don't know what Dachi. I know it's DACHI, and then it's like MK, but I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm just a dummy. What do I know about pronouncing names? Repair comes in this multi-gunner war. Might as well switch the Peacekeeper over, although nope. Vindicator is really going to be the one that wins that war. Nothing else will matter when you got the Vindicator. Dachi going to be coming up here with a bunch of conscripts. Decent amount of cash invested into this push. I mean, conscripts are cheap, but they're not free. And spending all of this cash right at the beginning of the game, if you don't get much value for it, can indeed put you behind as you transition into the mid part of the game. A couple of oil derrick caps going to 08, and finally, one oil derrick still yet to be grabbed in the top left-hand corner of the map. Vindicator's getting a couple of bomb drops off. Going to try and push away those Riptides. Riptide's going to be slowing down the pressure from Dachi. And it looks like Peacekeepers are going to be able to clean up that dog, and 08 might try and take this oil derrick for himself now that he's cleared the air. Bonk. Engineer's going to jump inside. Always fun. Oh, right from the beginning. Prince gets his MCV capped by a terror drone. He should be able to... Oh, it's a Soviet player, though. Oh, no. Okay, he's got an airfield all the way down here. It'll take a minute to get down there, and that might sort of disrupt his ability to build anything else for a minute. But he will eventually get this MCV healed up, get that terror drone taken care of. And, oof, that is a bit of trouble, but... There we go. Terror drone taken care of. Nicely done. Ooh, refinery forced to sell off. The engineer gets killed, but I don't even care. If you force your opponent to sell a refinery, that engineer has paid for itself in my book. Javelin Soldier is here, going to be firing a couple of shots against Dachi's hammer tanks. And it looks like eventually this IFV will go down. He reverse moves that one hammer tank. And who gets the gun? Oh, it's this guy. He gets a little flak weapon. It's a little anti-air weapon, even though IFV guns don't look anything like that. Vindicator is going to be coming through. Big drop of damage from those Vindicators. One Vindicator? No Vindicators go down. War Factory gets eliminated. And this is GGOT taking a bunch of damage early on. Dachi is here to just push him down into the mud and hope that he can quickly eliminate this allied player. 08 and GGOT, they're a double allies team. They've got double Vindicators, potentially double Javelin Soldiers, potentially double multi-gunner turrets. So it might be difficult to dislodge them. Prince reestablishes his MCV. After losing that refinery, he's got a bit of ground to make up. But he did leave a bunch of walls on the high ground just to slow down Becker, as Becker is looking to take these expansions. Peacekeepers versus Peacekeepers. As I just realized, it's 4 Allied players and 2 Soviet players in this game, so no Empire. After so many Tengus and Choppers in the last game, this game will be completely void of those units. Another Hammer Tank says goodnight as those Vindicators find a kill. Ooh, that's a lot of Javelin Soldiers. That's a bunch of cash, potentially down the drain. We'll see. Bears are heading north. They're like, chomp, chomp. I would like a Javelin Soldier lunch. Javelin salad, perhaps. As he is looking to roar and shut down all of those jabs. A bit of an infantry attack as finally finds a bit of damage against Dachi. Gets a kill on the Harvester, gets the kill on the refinery as well. And you're like, hey, I'm trying to attack your opponent over there. Why are you attacking me? As the MCV of GGOT is going to be brought to the front line to go for the crush on these units, go for the push against these bears. And it's going to be MCV versus MCV, and we all know what that really means. It's going to be multi-gunner turret wars in this section of the map. Satellites getting called in. Looks like it's going to get called in on the ore refinery. Hammer tanks are here to bring a bit of pain against that Conyard. And there the first multi-gunner turret does get established. Javelin Soldiers are going to rush forward. Dogs clear out the bears, but it's the crush of the Hammer tanks that you actually have to worry about. So much cash down the drain, and what did those Javelin Soldiers actually accomplish? They almost killed a barracks. And look at that, they even did kill a barracks. The MCV gets taken down, the Javelin Soldier goes heroic, and finally, the Hammer Tank gets the last kill. It may have been costly, but it almost didn't even matter because the MCV was not saved in the end. Hammer Tank does go down, and the Prince is able to back away here. Javelin Soldiers, not enough to save that multi-gunner turret, as it's just going to be Peacekeepers on the docket. But this attack is not stopping. Bear's finally going to clear it up. Looks like another reactor got taken down before the Javelin Soldiers were put to bed. But 2 refineries eliminated here by FinallyMZ. That is a great move there by FinallyMZ. One refinery each in the southern corner of the map. Prince and Dachi have just kind of picked a fight with everyone, and as a result, they have very little economy between the 2 of them. Dachi in the chat saying this is a really old replay. Yeah, I'm definitely a bit behind in my replay emails. We were doing some Kane's Wrath the other day, and some of the games were approaching 2 years old. Every time I clear out a big chunk of replays in my email, I get through like 10 or 15 or 20 emails. Something happens like with work, and then I end up not being able to cast any more email games for like 2 months. And then it basically puts me right back where I was, where I have a whole bunch of replays to get through, and I'm getting further and further behind, but trying to clear through them. Vindicators swinging over the Javelin Soldiers there. Athena Cannons 08 has found a bit of space to tech all the way up to Tier 3, get a War Factory out in the top side of the map, and he's got Athena Cannons and even a Mirage Tank just going to be blasting its way forward. Would be nice to, I don't know, like, you might want to bring couple of more units, maybe some Peacekeepers, and then like an Engineer IFV or something, just to be able to keep these units alive and healthy. Cryo Shot going to be firing off. A couple of Tesla coils as well here from Becker. Multi-gunner turret also has been established. GGOT is going to be getting kicked out of this section of the map. sells off the naval yard at the last possible second there. And these Athena cannons and Mirage tanks are just burning their way through these bases, but not for long, as FinallyMZ lands that EMP. Gets the kill on at least one Athena cannon, misses a couple of the Mirage tanks. Second Athena cannon is about to go down. Aircraft carriers do really good damage, and, well, he may not be able to save all of these buildings, but he will be able to kill those Athena cannons at the very least. And no, he actually calls the fleet away. Satellite's getting called down. Becker 789. Ooh. He escapes for now with his MCV. Athena cannons from Finally getting popped by these Mirage tanks. One of the Mirage tanks going heroic. Command hub is here. Oil derrick gets taken down. This game is, you know, it's at least not a total double team. It feels like sort of everyone is fighting everyone. Or at least each of the three teams is fighting the other two teams, it sort of feels like. So it's not just a total one-way street. GGOT going to be losing a couple of Vindicators here. And no, actually, GGOT has been defeated, so he gives everything over to 08. And, well, those Vindicators end up going down. A bit unfortunate there for 08 that those Vindicators had already been given an attack command and they just followed through on it. And he gets 4 fresh Vindicators, and then suddenly he's got no fresh Vindicators because they all are dead. Fully heroic Dolphin eventually goes down. Finally is able to hold on to these 2 assault destroyers and is going to try and keep one of them alive. You get those lovely... Oh, actually, no, the Dolphin gets the kill anyways. So the Dolphin is not affected by the black hole armor, apparently. And he just gets the kill on that other assault destroyer. Maybe the splash damage is the thing that does matter. I don't know, but 08 is going to be fighting it out with these assault destroyers in the north. Eventually, 08 will win this fight. The assault destroyers won't win over everything. And it looks like that multi-gunner turret going to be absorbing a lot of damage there. Becker comes through, big group of twin blades. He is going to find the super reactor. It goes boom. One of the MiGs goes down, and the War Factory is going to be the next choice. Daki is going to be getting knocked down once again, and he might actually be out of missiles on these MiGs as they turn and try and find a safe place to land. Goodbye. Daki is almost knocked out of this game. He has got... refineries? Oh, is that it? He might actually be out of this game in terms of production, in terms of buildings. If he doesn't have a sneaky MCV somewhere, which I don't think he does. He's got just like 2 refineries, and that's pretty much it. A couple of twin blades as well. I hope he's got an engineer inside of one of those twin blades. This Apollo hoping desperately to take down all of these twin blades, but eventually the Apollo will run out of gas, run out of fuel, run out of ammo. I think someone called down satellites somewhere. I'm not sure. Twin blades looking for the last couple of kills here. Daki splits the... Daki, you're in chat. How do I pronounce your name? Also, is this your last refinery? Is this it? Are you about to get knocked out of this game? Bonk. The Apollo trying to chase it down. And once again, we're in a 1v1v2 kind of a situation. Those hydrofoils getting some free kills there as twin blades fly directly over top of them. Unfortunately for Becker, losing a few more than he needed to, but he was able to get to safety eventually. 08 feels like he's in a pretty good spot. So it is DachiMK and not Daki. Okay. DachiMK. DachiMK. PrinceSaleh is in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. He's kind of got this section locked down. Meanwhile, 08 has almost the entire top edge of the map all to himself. He's got that locked down. And then we have FinallyMZ and Becker 789 who have the middle of the map and the bottom left-hand corner to themselves. Flak Troopers getting a couple of shots at those Apollos. Vindicator's coming through, looking for a strike. Oh, they don't actually... I thought they were going to kill the multi-gunner turret, and that's why it got frozen. But they just wanted to bomb out the refinery. That's actually kind of funny. Oh, actually, that Vindicator did have some bombs left over, but decides to go for the Flak Troopers. Can't really blame for that. Flak Troopers are expensive. Killing them off is nice. 08 gets the freeze, but not the kill. Although this Assault Destroyer might actually be able to get the kill anyways. Flak Cannon is nice, but Cryocopters are nicer, you could say. Twin Blades coming back through, but this time they're not quite as successful. 5 Apollos are here, and the Twin Blades are going to have to suicide themselves in a pretty unsuccessful attempt against that naval yard. 2 multi-gunner turrets may go down, but the price to pay will be 2 Cryocopters and an Assault Destroyer, and actually this multi-gunner turret may not actually go down. Yeah, it actually does survive, albeit barely. FinallyMZ does manage to hold on there. Cryogeddon is activated on top of 08's units. Aircraft carriers might be getting frozen. 1, 2 are frozen. The EMP fires off. And 08 has a couple of Dolphins, but they don't shoot up. Second aircraft carrier may actually survive here. More Twin Blades! More Twin Blades! A donation this holiday season. A friendly little boy or girl is going to be so happy with those Twin Blades. Going to be able to utilize them in any way that they wish. Another aircraft carrier does go down. EMP lands on top of that multi-gunner turret. North side of the map, south side of the map. Crazy action. Well, explosive action, not necessarily crazy action. Explosive action happening in both places. By the way, a big thanks to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon. Boyoke, Caffeine, Kuro, Smelly Butt. That's his real name on Patreon. Squat Lock, a.k.a. Counter L. Tuning Fork, Candace D. As well as Chris T, Monty C, R, Whimsiest, Wicken Tomcat, Zaned, Ian W. Big thanks to all of those folks as the EMP lands and sends these aircraft carriers into the darkness, buying a couple of extra moments. And this is like EMP trades. These guys are hoping that this holiday season they didn't buy the same thing for someone else that they got for themselves. Oh, that Apollo was directly in the middle of those 2 aircraft carriers and thus did not kill either of them. Cryocopter too far away to kill either of those aircraft carriers that are frozen. Hydrofoil killing that other Apollo, and this Cryocopter gets the freeze on that IFV. And actually, Prince has kind of just gone unnoticed for the last couple of minutes. He's had a couple of fights here and there, mostly Becker just giving away tens of thousands of credits worth of Twin Blades. Like, I don't know, that was possibly 20,000 credits worth of Twin Blades that just went down the drain. Nice freeze there. Gets, I think, 3 or 4 reactors. Looks like a multi-gunner turret as well. So that was a pretty good freeze coming in there. Just shut down some of that stuff. Aircraft carriers get sunk eventually. 08 is able to buy a little bit of space for himself. Clean up those aircraft carriers. And hey, this Tesla coil is cool, but it would be even cooler if it was online and not being weapons jammed immediately into oblivion. MCV is getting targeted, and I guess as long as the hydrofoil is there to weapons jam the Tesla coil, you really don't need to kill the Tesla coil. You just need to take out that MCV so there's no more build radius. Cryogeddon fires off, but that black hole armor will be absorbing it. That Assault Destroyer completely negating that Cryogeddon. MCV escaping into the middle of the island. 08 is fighting a battle against Finally. Finally is fighting a battle against 08. And then Prince is just sort of coming up out of nowhere. And after Becker threw 20,000 credits of Twin Blades down the drain, he was like, Prince is like, how much stuff can you possibly have? I mean, sure, you've got a bunch of money, but like when you throw 20,000 credits down the drain and get 0 value for them, you probably don't have a lot of stuff behind that. And it is proving to be true. There's a bunch of buildings, there's a bunch of base defenses, but there are not a lot of units to stop these assault destroyers as they make their way onto land and as they blast their way through these defenses. Aircraft carriers trying to make short work of this refinery, but it is going to take them a while to actually get the kill. And actually, that aircraft carrier is in range of a Tesla coil. Normally, the point of aircraft carriers is that they can outrange the Tesla coil, but in this case, he was sitting just inside of the range there, unfortunately for that aircraft carrier. As action explodes a little bit all over the map, and here we go, Becker. I don't care how much money you're wasting in Twin Blades. If you're going to be dropping a bunch of hammer tanks, you are a hero nonetheless. Javelin soldiers might just get crushed here as they rush to defend the base against these hammer tanks. And the hammer tanks are like, hey, that's a cool cryogeddon you got there. And they just drive forward, crushing javelin soldiers all the way, getting a kill on a Tier 3 war factory as well. Well, if you don't kill off the MCV, the Tier 3 war factory is less impressive as a kill. But these hammer tanks are going to sacrifice themselves. They may not actually live the night. One does survive, maybe even two. They're shrunken down. They are dodging missiles. Oh my gosh! That guy is the James Bond hammer tank, just dodging bullets and gunshots as he blitzes through the base. That was a magical hammer tank, and we will love him all of the days of our lives. He does die, though. He does get a horrible frozen carbonite death. IFV and a Mirage tank are just going to try and deal with these Athena cannons, but 08 and FinallyMZ, these guys might be locked in an eternal battle. They might be exactly the same skill level and have basically the same economies, and basically everything else about them is the same. They're basically the same person, and as a result, they're sort of locked in this eternal struggle. It's not so much like, what if an immovable force, or what if an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? It's more like, what if two guys who are the exact same have an arm wrestling contest? They just sit there at a table sweating for like 30 minutes. Apollos get sliced and diced. Dolphins get frozen and broken. Two aircraft carriers survive the fight and keep up the attacks. But on the other side, one aircraft carrier is surviving the fight. And once again, Prince is just left to his own devices. Ooh, does actually get a Tanya. All right, what are you going to do with the Tanya? Sentry bomber. Sentry bomber. Sentry bomber. There we go. All right. We'll try and keep an eye on this Tanya. I'm immediately going to click away to the other side of the map. But we'll keep the sentry bomber selected so that we try and remind ourselves to go and check in on that Tanya from time to time. Okay, there's the sentry bomber. It's heading along the south side of the map. Vindicators flying around, trying to find a bit of damage. And yeah, Prince is just going to town with these aircraft carriers, but really there is like no opposition for these aircraft carriers, and they're just, you know, slowly working their way through everything that Becker 789 has to offer. Ooh, you get the war factory. He drops the bombs. That's such a funny move. He drops a couple more bombs, which just kind of notifies your opponent that you are indeed there. Tanya goes in on the super reactor. Takes a bit of damage there. Gets the kill. Nicely done. We'll jump inside of the Prospector. And hey, look at that. Tanya goes heroic as she cleans up this entire section of the base. Yeah, one conscript. What is that going to do? And what do you actually do against walls if you're Tanya? I don't think you can shoot them. You might be able to break one by like force firing the ground or something. I don't know. Oh, Twin Blades. Never mind. It doesn't matter what you do against walls as Tanya, because you're about to die. Twin Blades are here. There's going to be the jump backwards, but in this case, you're actually jumping away from the building that you're trying to hide in, so it doesn't really do anything. Kirovs, once again, you may not be the best player, Becker 789, but at least you're entertaining, and that is what I ask. I don't ask much. I just ask that you be the best players in the world, always make the right decisions, never have a bad day, and also be entertaining. That's all I ask. It's the simplest thing in the world. Ooh, looks like Prince is, I think he used the extra EMP range glitch to get a bit of more range out of that EMP. Maybe it was right on the edge of the legal range. I'm not sure. But Kirov's getting targeted down. Also, Hydrofoil is going to be stopping them from being able to attack. So these Kirovs, a donation this holiday season. I mean, it's only September, but still. A donation this holiday season. For all the good little boys and girls of the world. 08 comes down here. He's like, wow, how are these guys still in this game? They have almost no buildings down here in the corner, not knowing that they got nuked by Tanya like 3 minutes ago. Finally has been defeated, and Becker is the last one from the team. I guess they weren't the middle of the map team, because I guess Prince stayed in the was started in the middle, but it's a 1v1v1. It's kind of a 3-player FFA at this point. Or the difference between this and a 3-player FFA is negligible at this point. 3 Mirage tanks that are basically just unopposed. Like, good for you. Becker, I think, is a bit outmatched in this game. 08 and Prince are going to have an allies fight to the death. They're both high-tech allied players with, I don't know, 4 or so refineries under their control. I mean, they're twin blades. Like, they're going to shoot you no matter which special abilities you activate. Vacuum Imploder is almost ready to fire off. There's going to be the scanner sweep, and there's going to be the call-in of the precision bomber. Get that barracks, man. Get that barracks. You're not going to freeze a Vacuum Imploder with 1 Cryogeddon. Although, you could use the all chat to coordinate the Cryogeddons. You could be like, all right, let's do it. Let's double Cryogeddon this Vacuum Imploder, and it would freeze it. Double Cryogeddon is unbelievably powerful. Freezes MCVs, basically anything in the game. Anything on the whole map will freeze. But of course, you need 2 late-game allied players to be able to pull it off. Chronosphere is ready. I assume that'll be a Tanya into the middle of the map. I feel like the most likely play is a Riptide Tanya right here. And, well, IFE Tanya, same thing. Chronosphere into the middle. Go for the island, go for the Vacuum Imploder. Over here, the Tesla Coil will stop you, or has a chance to stop you. I guess the Tanya has to be inside of a vehicle, and then you have to eject out of the vehicle, so the Tesla Coil, I think, will target the vehicle first, and so then the Tanya will have time to jump into the building. I'm not 100% that that's how that works, but it's something like that. Bridge gets destroyed. All right, 1 minute on the clock. Well, 1 minute 15. You don't have to be so precise. 1 minute on the clock for that Vacuum Imploder. Ooh, there's a sentry bomber in the sky, so that might actually have Tanya inside of it. I wasn't really paying attention, so I don't know if there is a Tanya inside of that, but... was that a... Oh, no, it was a heroic V4 launcher shot. Takes down 2 hydrofoils. Man, they do not hit, but when they hit, they are good. Riptide and a hydrofoil at the same time. Oh, come on. Still, that is a crazy amount of damage. All right, if you want to stop this Vacuum Imploder, pretty much now or never. Twin Blades and MiGs heading down to the southern part of the map. Vacuum Imploder almost ready to go. One really good target would be these aircraft carriers. Obviously, if you can hit all 3, that would be nice, but if you get 2 heroic aircraft carriers, that is really good. Here we go. Couple of seconds left, and it's going to be up to these Vindicators, up to these Apollos, and these Cryocopters to do something. What are they going to do? Who knows? Oh, he actually hits the base. He sends him into low power mode. All right, well, gets a bit of cash back. Low power mode. Engineer to try and cap as well. Where did this come from? He's sent to command hub down the right edge of the map, and 08 is like, one engineer didn't work because the Peacekeeper killed it, but a second engineer, also unprotected, that will work. That's the plan. The problem was there was only one engineer. And unfortunately, both engineers do die. 08 will not complete the Panzer attempt, although he will get this one. And now he will build one Peacekeeper to kill the other Peacekeeper to fire off a Cryogeddon. What is that? What Cryogeddon is that? That's not a build. The tree didn't even freeze. I wonder if he thought that was a Mirage tank. And he wanted to Cryogeddon that Mirage tank. My gosh. Talk about overkill, that engineer right there. The Athena cannons just absolutely blast that engineer. Toxin drop on top of the hydrofoils. I think the hydrofoils die in this situation. Yeah, even the one with the repair, it's right on the... yeah, it'll die. Goodbye. Nicely done. Takes out 4 hydrofoils. If the game turned out a little bit differently, that might have actually mattered. But it hasn't. So I don't think killing 4 hydrofoils is really going to matter. 3 heroic Apollos, but power is back online, and these cryocopters are in range of the flak, so the cryocopters barely, one of them barely surviving, might be able to still freeze that vacuum imploder. It'll take a minute, but at least it's already like half frozen. And more twin blades to the slaughter. Our brothers have died in shame and glory, and so shall I, says each twin blade to his brother as he dies. Bye-bye. Becker is joining the long tradition of Soviet players who have built 1 billion twin blades and also lost every single one of them. And I count myself amongst their numbers. I am also a twin blade masochist. I will murder myself with twin blades by building way too many of them. All right, I feel like we are starting to wrap this one up. 08 still has a chance in this game. It looks like all of his harvesters are working away. Oh, he actually needs to take over both of these. I mean, they're depleted, but still. Get you money. Prince is in the best position just from starting out from right now. I guess technically it is anyone's game, but I feel like Becker, you know, he needs somebody to distract his opponents so that his mass twin blade strategies will work out. Ooh, Satellite's going to get called down. You know, satellites are always nice. I think it takes down the refinery? No, just 80%. Leaves it with 10 or 20% health. Aircraft carrier kills one of the airfields. I think the other one is out of range. You can get the oil derrick. Get the MCV as it tries to cross the bridge. Does he think this bridge is here? I think he thinks this bridge is here. Otherwise, where are you going? Like, you're still in range of the aircraft carriers. Run to, I don't know, the other side of the island, and then you can just run back. Or hang out right in the middle of the island, and that might be safe from the aircraft carriers. Chronosphere still at 0. Prince is waiting to use it. MCV going to pack itself up and run for the hills. Oh, wait. Oh! Gets crashed into the power plant. So sad. Well, yeah, they can't all be winners. Vindicators escape. 2 heroic Vindicators. Prince actually has, you know, I don't know, he's maybe not the best player, but in this game, he has so many heroic units, which just speaks to good unit usage. Even these Peacekeepers and Javelin soldiers. Good unit usage, but also just, like, good engagements and unit preservation. So Prince really has been playing the best out of everybody. Look at these Apollos. They're green, but they're also green, and they've never seen a day of battle in all their life. Mirage tanks making their way up north. Becker is scouting. Becker, who hasn't done anything but build twin blades for like the last 10 minutes. It's just like, maybe if the other guys fight each other, then at the last minute, I'll build some twin blades. No, Becker, no, your twin blades haven't worked at all this entire game. But at the last moment, I'll build some twin blades, and they'll never see it coming. Becker, they've killed every twin blade. You built 12,000 twin blades. Every single one has died. But next time, it won't. And that's the story of this game for Becker. Prince is making his way around the map. Could also take that refinery. I mean, might as well. Like, while you're taking over the entire map, might as well get a couple of extra expansions while you're at it. Apollo goes down. Just another strike against 08. The MCV of Becker is just, I gotta get out of here, man. Every corner of this island keeps getting attacked by aircraft carriers. Ah! Health bars, not top secret protocols. No one asked that. Future Tech Advanced Research. I never read that subtitle right there. I never, like, realized that it says Future Tech Advanced Research. Ooh, look at this. Javelin soldiers making these Athena cannons run for the hills. Becker has been defeated. Everything goes down. And then there were two. And at this point, I think the writing has been on the wall for about 5 minutes now, so we might as well get a little bit closer to the end. All right, 08 is going to make a heroic last stand. It's going to be a bit difficult. If I remember correctly, aircraft carriers outrange Athena cannons by like 10%. And they're both heroic, so... Oh, no, actually, these Athena cannons aren't heroic, so... Kind of doesn't matter. Also, the EMP kind of makes this even more one-sided. Sheesh. That aircraft carrier range is insane when they are heroic. Mirage tanks burn through everything on the ground, and Prince burns through the buildings after that. Chronosphere is ready to go as well, just in case there needs to be a plan B. Tanya is running around. Is she going to jump inside of like an IFV or a Riptide or something? Because that could be fun. IFVs and Riptides are a fun way to end the game. Oh, I think he's low on cash, so whatever he's building, we'll come back to it in a moment as these Mirage tanks are dueling in the north, but one of them is heroic and one of them is not. He activates the special ability, but like the multi-getter turret is inside of the little cloaking shield there, the little cloaking area. And what do we got? Oh, no, it's another Athena cannon. I don't know why Tanya's there. She's standing there like she's going to do something, but there is actually nothing really going on. It could be a sentry bomber about to come out from that airfield, but there's the fire sale, and that is going to be the victory as... No? Okay, there we go. I was like, oh no, did I play the music too early? But no, it does finally happen. And that's the GG. That's Game 6 of this subscriber replay showcase. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We had some awesome action-packed games and a bunch of long matches today. So hopefully you enjoyed them. Thank you all very much for watching. And this is Sybert signing out.